Hello and welcome to the Berkcast, the How to Train Your Dragon podcast. I'm your host, HC. With me, Al.
Wolf.
Ian.
And Audrey.
And you know why we're here. You know what we're covering. You clicked on this video. You see the thumbnail. It's Nine Realms Season 5. And if you can tell by my tone of voice, let's start with something not related to the show somewhat. This season is freaking cursed. Can we agree on that?
Yes, we can.
Is it?
Yeah, it
noticed.
is. Well, for one, check out Audrey's trailer reaction.
Oh, Jesus.
That's your first proof. Two,
I've really laughed hard at that.
Okay, good. At least someone did.
Two, apparently the trailer first showed up on a day when I was like, they're actually taking their time with this Nine Realms season. We haven't seen a new trailer yet. I wonder if they're
Every single one of us were saying that around that time.
No, but
me, DJ, KLC, all of us were like, wow, it's taking a while for the new season to come out. And then the next day, the trailer dropped.
Yeah, but on the day, not even 5 hours after I was thinking that, suddenly, bam, trailer.
And look, this happens every single time. Even just anything. I think about it. I just think, oh, that's been a long time. And then there's an update.
Yeah, but then in the way things are, apparently the trailer was uploaded not on the right time because they took it down, but John Tellegen posted it on his Twitter and people told him, hey, where's the trailer? Which caused them to respond with this exact quote. That's the quote. Silence. He didn't say anything about it.
I see.
And
actually he did, because he said it must have got so many hits that it just went down and it crashed.
Which
is not a thing that happens.
No, that happened to Rihanna too, and to Instagram posts. And didn't you remember that?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, she broke the internet and went private. The entire internet went private.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And then just in the way things are, as I think in this particular chat room, I'm the only one who doesn't have any legal access to Peacock and Hulu. Thank you, DreamWorks.
I don't either.
So I had to do searches because apparently this is the one season where people who help guys like me went, hey, what, who cares?
Honestly, I had to go onto some sketchy gift card website, buy a Hulu gift card, and then get a subscription through that. It was weird.
And so on that note, I want to take my friend Jaya, who has a Hulu subscription, and she streamed the season to me. Don't worry, I didn't ask her to watch it. She just put it on, went to do her thing, and I took notes.
Wow, what a good friend.
Yeah, she actually thinks she's an awful friend because she enabled suffering for me, but
she enabled an obsession.
One way to look at it. But anyway, now that we got the cast part out of the way, let's actually talk about general opinions, non-spoilers yet, for the new season. Audrey, what did you think?
Just in terms of general thoughts, of all the seasons that I've seen so far, this one felt the most like a filler season. If you really think about it, all the narrative ground that they covered over all 6 episodes, they could have easily done in 3, maybe even 2. It just felt like they were padding so much time and not really doing that much with it. And when they do end up, what they do end up accomplishing by the end of it, I left this season so fucking confused. I told HC the next day, I watched the whole thing, then slept through the night, and when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't figure out what all I had seen, if it had been some fever dream or not. It just takes so many bizarre turns towards the tail end. Because, without getting into spoilers too early, this season accomplishes pretty much nothing in terms of the overarching story. There are some things here and there, but just pertaining to the new characters' stories, nothing to do with the tie-ins from the original franchise, which there are a significant amount this season. But taking those out of it, and just focusing on the modern-day kids, it goes so painstakingly slow and doesn't accomplish basically anything else for the first 5 episodes. And then we get to the season finale. I swear to God. Oh my. It was like the showrunners were taking a Sunday drive through the first 5 episodes of this season. And then they got a call from the Universal execs saying, hey, you better get to the studio and do some shit with this show or else these dragons and your ass is going to get canned. And the showrunners just went, oh, and they shifted that card to Gear and went, I got whiplash from how much shit they threw at us in episode 6.
Not to spoil anything yet, but let's say that I have a proof within the show that this actually happened. You know what I'm talking about if you saw it. We'll touch on that in spoilers, but I think they incorporated that into the script at some point.
Yeah. So that's just my general thoughts.
So I guess I'll just quickly say, because pretty similar, it's such a weird season because, like Audrie said, it was basically nothing. It's the most filler season yet, but at the same time, it also feels like the season that somewhat kinda not really tried to accomplish something. Like it's this really weird middle where, and for the record, nothing works. Okay, it's a bad season in any way of the imagination, but it also felt, I walked out of this one less angry like the other four, and more confused,
Yeah,
and more
I felt
and more like, okay. So I guess this is another sign this season is freaking cost. I have no idea what to think. I'm just kinda in the middle about it. I'm not mad. I'm not even sure if I'm disappointed anymore because I expect this show to be bad. I'm just confused.
And I have theories as to why that is, but let's just say for the non-spoiler section, it feels like the writers of the show, the screenwriters, needed to accomplish some things that happened this season, but even they were confused on how they were going to do it, and it shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Ian, what are your thoughts? Because you had to binge season 4 too, you poor thing.
Oh man, I binged all of it today because I just couldn't get my streaming to work. It was pain. I genuinely had to take a lunch break from watching these things.
You could have just watched my video and said that you saw the season.
I even watched that.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I binged it fully. Yeah, no, I mean, the only thing I have to add is that I got goosebumps, but I don't think it was the right kind. I think it was of cringe rather than amazement. So, yeah, it seems like they just write these episodes all at the same time, and at the end just kind of go, okay, so how do we stitch this together? Is there any story that we can just kind of, get over the entire season? I don't know. I don't have much more to add. I agree pretty much with what was said.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I would agree with Audrie in saying that episode 1, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of into this. What you're doing here, it's neat. Then 2, 3, 4, meh, mostly. Then 5, I enjoyed, but that's solely because what's in 5, nothing that 5 actually does. And then 6, I'm like, wow, that was very fast, but okay, I kind of like this. Maybe we'll get some more next season that'll actually do something with all of this. But otherwise, I don't hate it. I'm just kind of like, okay.
That's fair.
I feel like in season 4, because I watched both of them today, I didn't feel as much of like, oh god, how long is this episode still gonna last? I didn't feel it as much in season 4 as I did in season 5.
Listen, I'm gonna come out and say it. I love my boy Eugene, but I think he's the problem this season.
Okay, and I have an entire rant I'm saving for that. Can we talk about the characters for a second?
I just want to say, just on that note, quick note, that in all of my notes for every episode, per episode, I have at least one Eugene is a dick, or Eugene is annoying, or I hate Eugene in some way.
Poor Eugene. God.
Yeah. So if we can just talk about the characters in general without spoiling anything, I was really unimpressed with the characters this season, especially because normally, yeah, the characters are pretty much all insufferable aside from Alex, but you still had at least one episode per season that's dedicated to her, or even Eugene's character, who I felt had a ton of growth in season 4, which was one of the only things that I liked about the show. And in
Yeah.
season 5, Alex has virtually nothing to do. She doesn't have any episodes dedicated to her. And even though she's still super hilarious and likable in her little moments, the show doesn't take advantage of that. And with Eugene, I was mad at what they did with Eugene this season because last season he had all that character development and bonding with Alex in particular. And in season 5, he just acts the exact same as the arrogant asshole he was when he was introduced in season 2. It's like none of the development he had last season stuck. It almost gives me the vibe that the screenwriters made him look so good last season on accident. And when they realized that they were making the punching bag of the group look sympathetic, they were like, oh no, we can't have the audience like him. They're supposed to like Tom more. So they just made Eugene a major douchebag again for no reason. It's so frustrating. Like, you have a compelling character in your show that's completely void of compelling characters. Why wouldn't you use that?
Because they hate
Can you remind me if the quote of maybe Eugene is changing, is that from season 4 to season 5?
That was
Maybe
season
it's
4.
become... Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
four.
So, yeah, okay. That's what I thought with this. Okay.
I
Yeah, makes
also
sense.
want to say this is not a spoiler. It's in the trailer, but you know how the trailer starts with Eugene going, "Dragon Lady is a big." Listen, when I was searching for ways to watch the show, I had to listen to this line so many goddamn times. I just want to shoot him. This was this was annoying. But okay, that's just a side note. Nothing to. But
I
he's
mean,
right that no character besides Olivia, kinda, and even then it's not done well at all. We'll get there. But besides Olivia, no character really has a moment to shine. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, and you can, and the other thing that kind of annoys me that you can tell where characters could have their moment to shine. There could be moments, there could be things. There are, especially in some of the later episodes, there are moments where it's like, okay, if it was actually done well, maybe I would have actually given a shit, but it's not done well.
Yeah, and with the other characters, Tom is really dull. D'Angelo, again, like last season, the screenwriters just kind of forgot that he was a character. And June, look, I'll give the show this. My biggest problem last season, aside from all the disrespectful shit they did with Hiccup's origin, was June as a character. She was a brand new level of awful last season. And I'll say that this season, she's still not even remotely likable, but she didn't have any moments that made me have to stop the show because my blood pressure was rising so fast I was in danger of being hospitalized.
oh.
She's more in the background, and the little development she did have with Eugene was, again, not good, but at least they tried. The words "I'm sorry" left her mouth at one point, which I didn't think was humanly possible for her character.
Yeah.
So yeah, June wasn't as terrible as last season, but that is really, truly not saying anything, because season 4, episode 3, Journey to the Snowcano, June, and the sheer level of insufferable that she was that episode, that is gonna be some hard shit to top. I'm not surprised they couldn't do it this time around, because Snowcano was just a special type of fuck you to the audience that I don't think can be replicated. Like, the bar is so low.
Besides getting high, let's not ignore that. The one good thing.
That's also very very funny hearing you mention that after watching your video.
Yes, I am still so pissed off. When the best thing I can say about a character is I was not in danger of being hospitalized from the anger and stress of watching them like I was last season, I think that's pretty indicative of how well they're written. Just my opinion.
It's a roller coaster with all characters, really.
Yep, sure. So anything else non-spoilery? Because I have something that's not really a spoiler, but it's relating to a moment in an episode. So
I don't have anything else.
No.
Wolf, what do you say?
Go ahead.
Okay, so minor spoiler for episode 2. Nothing plot related, but it's kind of a character moment which it's a June rant, so Audrie, be ready. Okay, so basically, and also you can write this down, you can use it in your review if you want.
I
So,
probably will.
okay, so basically, there's a point where June says that in Chinese mythology, two-headed dragons are a symbol of rebirth. Now, to those, and I did research on this, June is Chinese. Her last name is Wang, and now, so it makes sense that she would know something like this. She's Chinese and she's into mythology, of course. Now, what the writers of the show did take into account is that my girlfriend happens to be Chinese Indonesian. So
I think I know what's coming.
I was curious, so I slid into my girlfriend's DMs and asked her, darling, what does two-headed dragon symbolize in Chinese mythology? And she was very kind to say that not only do two-headed dragons in Chinese mythology do not symbolize rebirth, there are no two-headed dragons in Chinese mythology to begin with.
Oh no.
What? You mean the showrunners didn't do their research?
Yeah, I know.
How could that be?
Listen, that's the one relatable moment June's ever going to have. She's like the weeaboo, but doesn't do any of the research. She just says shit. I feel that.
I mean, she just believes everything her mother says, even though it was literally just bedtime stories, literally just made up.
No, it wasn't her mother. It was her father who,
was
I
it
guess,
the father?
That's
I guess
even
left
more
their
relatable.
ass.
Holy shit. Her
Oh,
parents
okay.
fucked her up.
Yeah.
And she's not
No,
come to
but-
that realization that her parents have fucked her up yet.
Oh no.
No, but if you need any sort of reason to, in a future season or previously, that June has any idea what the fuck she's talking about, she can't even get the mythology relating to where she's from right.
Because she's not being written by a 14, however-year-old Chinese girl. She's being written by a 50-year-old man in California who thinks
I
that
don't
he's
give a
being
shit.
culturally
That's
diverse.
If you're gonna represent someone, at least do your research. It's not hard. I can Google.
Yeah.
Google's
as far
hard.
as
I get
with
it.
a quick
That's too much
with a
work.
quick Google search, I can see that there is something with a two-headed dragon, but it doesn't say
You
rebirth
see,
anywhere.
I asked about this. There's a difference because the
Oh.
way
Now I'm
because
interested.
yeah, basically I don't know the full details about this, but what you might find on Google. One, it's something that it's not the same type of two heads. Let's start with that. Two, it doesn't stand for rebirth. And three, depending on where your Chinese origins are, there are different changes to the mythology, different things you might believe in. And from, according to sources, Jun's last name is Wang, which means the two-headed dragon you find on Google doesn't apply to her.
Ah. Okay. that
So
makes sense.
either the showrunners who are responsible for all this, either they didn't do their research at all and they were like, let's just make something up, no one will know the difference, or they knew and they purposefully did it anyways, and I don't know which one is worse.
It's like, it's pick your poison, basically.
Wow.
Or they did do the Google search. They saw that they got a result and just assumed, well, we'll just put a definition on it.
That's like the level of research I do for my fan fictions when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Like a Google search of a certain, like,
Wait,
anything.
isn't this that? Just
Is it
an
just fan
animation
fiction?
of a fan fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Basically.
I
It
thought
works for me, damn it.
Yeah, I
And,
thought this was the next Twilight. What are you on about? What?
50 Shades.
Oh no! And considering all the memes that came out of the mural of Hiccup from the previous season looking like John Tolligan, this is fan fiction.
It really is. He just like really
man.
wanted to self-insert, didn't he?
Oh wow,
Like,
it might be.
no? Well, thank you for coming to Berkcast Conspiracies. We are gonna move on with the rest of the spoilers, I suppose. So, in case you're still here, spoilers for the entire show, episode by episode, are starting at this very moment. If you don't want to be spoiled, which honestly you shouldn't care, chance to close the video, go watch the season, please don't, and then come back. So, 3, 2, 1. You still here? Good. So
Good
I
luck.
just want before just kind of a problem throughout the entire season before we go to episode 1 specifically. What's one of the biggest things with Tom in this season and Olivia too? Do we keep the secret? Maybe we should let the secret out. Let's
Yeah.
be honest, they suck at keeping this secret. How many people
Oh, they're
knew
so
about
bad.
this? How
Well,
many people knew about this?
It's not even so much that they suck keeping it, but even when they manage to for a majority of the season, Olivia is the most irresponsible adult I have ever seen in my life. You
Yeah.
are aware that these people who you consider friends, their children are off riding flying, fire-breathing reptiles and fighting child-killing maniacs in different realms that are covered in lava and ice, and you're not going to tell them that their children are
Yeah.
off.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
like-
So actually, in the first episode, it's either the first or the second episode of this season, she does say she thinks it's irresponsible for her to keep it a secret from their parents, so they should tell them.
It's the second.
But
then-
then it's
but-
just
but-
ignored.
Season, though.
Yes.
It's just ignored the rest of the season.
I was going to bring
No.
this up because it's
Yeah.
not that it's ignored. She says this, and then we go like episode 3, nothing really comes up about it. Episode 4, I believe, or episode 5, somewhere in there. I think it's 4 though.
Oh,
it comes
with Eugene
back
and
up,
June.
and they say, "Hey, we should tell them." And like it's the kids who's like, "Hey, we should tell our parents now." Like we're at that point now, and Tom's like,
Oh,
"No, we can't tell them." And they bring something up
Yeah,
about like.
episode 6 especially.
And they bring something up about like, oh, my mom's not, and like Tom brings something up, and they bring something up, and then Tom says, my mom's not going to tell anyone. She's cool like that. And it's like, but she just said 2 episodes ago that you all need to tell them. Why
That
is
was
she
so
keeping the
frustrating.
secret? Why
And
does she?
Even worse, in one of the episodes, Eugene and June sit at a table talking about this thing. June almost says it, but they still go on about this freaking Dragon Fantasy game BS they kept saying throughout the seasons.
Yeah, it's,
They
One
had
of my
the
biggest-
opportunity to.
It wasn't even a pet peeve. It was just like, why are you doing this? This is
It
so
was-
it proves that this season is just filler because episode 2 and
Yeah.
episode 5 end the exact same way. Episode
Yeah.
2 ends with Olivia saying, "Guys, you need to tell your parents. This isn't the right thing to do." And then 3 episodes go by, and the end of episode 5 is, "Guys, you need to tell your parents. This
And
isn't
no,
the right thing to do." And I'm like, they had this ending 3 episodes ago.
I'll give them
Oh,
credit.
man.
Episode 5, they at least changed it up, and no, I'm telling them. She finally gets it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, even then she didn't get it done.
Yeah,
even though,
actually-
even then, no, it's she didn't do it. They did it.
Okay, quick note on that too. Like when episode 6 sounds like Olivia suddenly says, for the past 3 days, you waited 3 days. The entire season took place in 3 days. Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, okay.
Should we talk about episode 1?
episode
Oh yeah.
1?
Oh yeah. Well,
Let's go. Punishment and torture.
I'll
So-
say, I like.
There's never been a more fitting
Yeah.
episode title for the experience of watching this show.
Yeah, basically, you like how to
Oh,
turn your
God.
dragon? This is about punishment and torture.
Mm-hmm.
they even fit a pun in there just to make it more relatable.
hmm Because we need our pain needs to be validated. But anyway, okay, I know that grounding Tom is probably the responsible thing as a parent to do, and this is the other thing that kind of pisses me off about this season. We can say how much we want that, like in a situation like this where it's like, Tom going, "No, Mom, they need me. The dragons need me, and my friends need me," and Olivia grounding him, which is like you also kind of you ground the kid for essentially doing your job.
Wait, what?
like let's think about this. How did Tom discover the dragons in the first place? He actually
Oh,
went. He
He
yeah,
was
actually
attempting
went.
gotcha.
suicide, is what he was doing.
Yeah,
Also
okay, I
that.
know, but you know, he basically actually went into the thing they were studying in the first place. So did he keep us a secret or not? You know, that's another bunch of other
Yeah,
bullshit.
okay, I
But
can see where you're going with this. Basically, they built this. We've talked about this before. They've
It
built
up
an entire
no,
every
research and
season. They don't do shit at that research facility. They're all
no,
drugged
they
out on
don't.
ketamine. They don't do anything. Which this is a gripe for episode 6 completely because the adults are a whole new level of incompetent in episode 6.
Yeah,
We'll get
definitely.
there.
Listen, I
man.
envy them this job. I want this job, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
I would
how
take in a
much-
heartbeat getting paid to just have a home, live out there, and just not do fuck all. Yes,
Also, real
please.
quick, how does Olivia not just immediately realize that this Dragon Fantasy game that Tom has been going on about is literally just him and his friends with the dragons? How can she not make
She's
that
busy being
connection
too mad at
immediately?
him. And which, listen, I give her, I fully stand by her decision to ground him personally because
Yeah,
it's like, hey, you discovered dragons. That would be amazing. But you discovered this dragon, though. Could you not have done
What?
better?
Oh, God.
Be more moved by Olivia's protective nature over her son if we'd seen it even a little bit before now, because she has not given a fuck about that child since season 1. I mean, in season 2, she brought him on a freaking expedition where they almost fell down a ravine in a cave that was filling with lava, and she just walked it off like it was nothing. And you know, he's fallen off cliffs. He's encountered Buzzsaw with a hatchet. He's been thrown off of dragons, and she didn't know anything about it, and she didn't care. She just let him go off and do whatever. So the fact that she's being so protective of him now, I just find it hard to believe because she hasn't been at all this show. And also such a resigned reaction to discovering that dragons are real. Just like the rest of the characters, it's just like, whoa, a dragon. Really?
I love the, I can't deal with this right now. I loved it so much.
That's actually a note I have, like, you know, Olivia's reaction is weird and unfocused, like, because it's like, on the other, wow, a dragon, and then she's like, you're grounded, and it's like, do you not see, you know, if, because let's assume Thunder doesn't really know Olivia is his mother, right? If I saw, like, let's say, if a pet saw any kind of threat to their best friend, I don't know, I think the pet would attack, I assume.
I come back to, I at least understand Olivia's reaction because it's like, wow, a dragon. It looks like that. Yay.
We haven't even made it past the first scene yet.
Yeah.
Listen,
But
if my kid discovered a dragon and like this is what he came home or they came home with, I'd be a little bit disappointed in them. If they came home with toothless, all right, great, you did good. If they came home with feathers, all right, it's like, you know, it's not as good as toothless, but it's something. You did good. I'm okay with that. If you come home with thunder,
would you be amused with a terrible terror,
back
though?
with Hobgoblin, I'll
take a terrible terror. You did good. You discovered something. I'm proud of you.
Okay.
It's just, you know, Thunder's design. It's like, I feel like you just went out and changed up a cow a little bit and that's it. And it's like, cool, you can do genetic research.
Yeah. No, listen, he should have brought Shadow. That would have been amazing.
Oh my god.
At least the inbred babies look cute when they're babies.
When they're
they
babies.
get older.
That's about all I can get from them.
Okay. So anyway, so a week passes after this scene.
And then maybe when they get into Alpha, they look good then too, a little bit. Just one of them. They look okay-ish.
Okay, that's for another day. Going on with the episode, so a week passes since Tom has been grounded. Okay, and his friends come to cheer him up, and apparently there are hints, you know, we actually get some sort of flirting between Tom and June, which is ugh.
Okay,
And
you know what? There are so many things wrong with that scene. First off, why are we never shown Tom and June developing their relationship. If it's gonna happen, why isn't that something the audience is seeing? We're just told that it happened, and we're supposed to feel some type of way about it. And by the way, when that actually started happening, and they were like bantering back and forth, and Alex and D'Angelo were like, "Hey, look at these two. They're like flirting with each other. Oh, you did that with June by yourselves." I've never had an allergic reaction to anything before in my life, but what I felt in my body, I assume is what it feels like to go into anaphylaxis. That is the only way I can describe it. I was like cringing and just like doubling over. It was so difficult to watch. But even moving beyond that, second, they've had this book for how long, and they're just now translating it? They even said all they had to do was Google Viking runes, which Tom could have translated the book the night that he got it out of the dragon box. The show don't give a fuck.
Well, they misspelled Vikings, okay?
We did establish, though, earlier, the showrunners clearly don't know how to use Google, so they probably wrote it in. It takes time. It's hard for them. Moving on.
Listen,
I'm just joking.
As an old person, yeah, Google is hard. I get it. I get it. I feel for them.
Oh my god. It was just so ridiculous and nonsensical. Like, you're so passionate about dragons, and you're the dragon whisperer, Tom, and finding out about your family's history. Yet, you've had this book for long enough for Buzzsaw to grow fucking mullet and beard, and you haven't even looked at it, apparently.
This is true, yeah.
So, anyway, so the other dragon riders are going off to the ice realm to, I don't know, do stuff. And
there were sensors going off, and they decided they were bored and they were going to go to it.
And then Buzzsaw is there, and still, like, at least for this episode, no real idea what he is actually trying to do. Be a villain. Stylish new hairdo, I suppose. Also, they were trying to be meta at some point. Like, I don't remember what he says, but I have in my notes, okay, they meta,
yeah. That was a big thing for me. This entire season, it just felt like the show was becoming a parody of itself.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is why it was so bizarre, because it's almost like they're self-aware of the fact that the show is so bad. And like they've done certain things, and now they're making fun of the things that they've done in the past, but like the show is still continuing on, so I'm really confused.
To earn that.
Yeah, but
like, I'm
because
sorry.
previously you might have just have like Alex being like the audience surrogate in that way, that she would be the one that kind of throws what the audience is thinking into the show. But now it's like they kind of try to do this with a lot more, and you are not that type of show, I think. And considering this is season 5, the people have already voiced their displeasure with the show by then. I think they are suddenly trying to be with the joke. Like, we are aware that what we're giving you is not what you want, and we are gonna talk about this. There's a point which just cracked me up, but not in this episode. But it feels, you can't do meta. You have the right to do meta humor.
Yeah, like Wolf said, it didn't feel earned, and you saw it as like them being self-aware. I almost see it as them, because like you said, it was probably after the criticism started coming in that they worked on this season. I almost feel like it was them making fun of us. Like, our names are so bad, huh? Well, how about these names that are so bad? Like, I'm just waiting for like a reference to one of our commentaries in the show at some point.
Well, yeah. In season 4, they say I came across a lot of internet
online trolls. Yeah.
And of course,
didn't Teen Titans Go do kind of the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know something? I'll give Nine Realms credit. If it was intentional back then, they did it with much more tech than Teen Titans Go did. I know that's not a high ball, but it's something.
It is not.
I'm probably giving it too much, but I at least want to give episode 1 this. I did enjoy it. It's not perfect. It's not like the greatest thing, but it's at least something that's like, you can see it there, the glint of something good. of Tom and his mom talking before Tom goes off to help the other writers.
Oh, actually, before
That one, at least, like, I can say, you know what? I liked that a little bit. It was okay. It was like a good thing. It's kind of like it's the thing that kind of got me interested in this season a little bit. It's like, hey, we might be doing a little bit more with like the parents and going into that. Episode 2 gave me a little bit more of that, and then it just kind of forgot about all of that. And it's like, cool.
And then it forgot there were other parents.
I mean, there's only one parent here.
To say on episode 1, just to say it, there another like kind of glint of like, I saw something. There's something here that can maybe work. Is when Thunder actually kind of has a solid idea to cause a blackout to distract Tom's mom and then come in to see him. I know that it's not a perfect plan, but you know what? For the first time in 5 seasons, this dragon actually shows that he's somewhat intelligent. I know
well, he recognized the words "mum."
Yeah,
but,
he did.
Yeah.
But then there's also the point where Olivia sees him at the house and she starts fighting him with a broom, and that's freaking hilarious.
That was pretty funny to me.
A dragon invaded my home, a broom. Yes, that will teach him.
Yeah, I'll get him out like a raccoon. Kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
wait, did he say lightning raccoon at some... Oh, no, lightning skunk is what Buzzsaw said at some
lightning
at one point.
Either way, it's like that scene in Monsters, Inc. where they send Randall to some random place. It's like, Mom, another alligator came into the house. Another alligator, where's the broom? So yeah, I laughed so hard that, like, a dragon in my house.
I didn't so much laugh at that. It was more so like the stuff around the episode that didn't make any sense. Like after we find Buzzsaw's new...
I just want to finish. I just want to say one more thing about it. So I can't see something there, and then when Tom tells Thunder to go, and Thunder doesn't move, and and Tom tries to push him away, and Thunder just stands there. It's like, okay, that actually gives Thunder some character. But then I stop and say, oh, I know why I kind of enjoy this, because it's Toothless all over again. So to quote Benoit Blanc, the one thing you have going for you, and you stole it from something. I know that's not a quote, but whatever.
You had to bring Glass Onion into this, didn't you?
It's just something that came randomly, but. But yeah, it's like the one thing that I can kind of give Thunder some sort of credit since this show started, and it's a ripoff of Toothless. So
but they're the same
that's
species.
everything in this show, though.
Yeah,
wait, they're not.
I know, but at the same time, at this, I'm like, okay, there's actually some sort of something that would make me like Thunder if it wasn't just a copy of the much better dragon.
I can see that.
Can Nightlights have abortions? They seem to be doing fine. Can we just cancel this one? Can we just cancel Thunder?
Moving on.
Okay.
Bad joke.
I to say something.
Buzzsaw in the ice realm. I guess he built a house. Yeah. And the funniest part for me was he traps all the kids in the ice cage like he did last season.
Yeah.
And Wu and Wei are just sitting right in front of them. Wei could easily steam blast the ice and melt it so they can get out, but he just doesn't even care. It's like I said in season 3, Wu and Wei don't give 2 shits about June in this show. They fell asleep when she ran off in that lava biome. They don't care.
Yeah, they honestly, who would? Even though I'm like, shit, we got stuck with hell. She thinks
even they can't deal with her.
Yeah, and then Tom shows up after Olivia lets him go and is like, I know how to defeat the Sky Torturer that showed up all of a sudden with this, and he holds up the dragon book. I was like, oh great, are you gonna feed the book to it like you did Hiccup's leg to the Snow Wraith last season?
Oof. Too soon. Too soon.
And then there was also this like bit of dialogue with Buzzsaw and Tom, where Buzzsaw is like, you don't know what it is like to lead. They actually obey me. They actually don't. It's like, are we trying to force like this kind of like a we are not the same but we are kind of shit with them? What?
If that's what they're doing it really badly.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They
Listen,
do. I'm like, wait, they were trying to do that? What? When?
I loved where it's like, hey, Buzzsaw, we need to all work together to beat the Sky Torture. Turns around, he's running away. Like,
That
all
was
right,
pretty
honestly,
great.
I was so scared it was gonna go to a moment where Buster was actually gonna join them, and then he flew away, and I was like, okay, thank God, not all hope is lost with this.
Yeah, the trailer was such a bait and switch too, because they made it look so dramatic, like they're all gonna band together to fight the Sky Torture, which doesn't even appear for the rest of the season.
No, just then.
No, it's just there. It was just there. But then, listen. Climax, lame animation, lame action. We know that stuff. But then, the new realm.
Oh my
Beneath the ice realm.
I
Remember?
fucking died laughing because I thought that the show. I'm used to the show doing the absolute bare minimum when it came to designs and the physics of the realms, but this time we don't even have a tunnel or some type of passageway to look through like we did with the sinkhole. They just look through a hole in the ground and there's another gigantic fucking realm there. I'm like, are you serious? Can you do anything creative at all?
This killed me. This was hilarious. And like again, how do these realms work? What is this hidden world? What is this?
I keep forgetting that it's part of the hidden world each single time.
Yeah. Oh,
I
and
love that
then
we don't even
let's
go
not forget-
there. Not once.
But,
We just look through a hole, see it, and it's like, hey, that's down there. Cool.
Apparently, all 9 realms in the hidden world are located at this one tiny place in Scandinavia that spans
obviously.
about 10 miles. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Not
At the same time, it
much-
was also suggested that dragons were, worldwide phenomena, but whatever.
You know how Dean DeBloss said in an interview that the waterfall entrance for the hidden world was inspired by a dream. I'm sure that's exactly what he dreamed of.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
to be honest, it does sound like a fever dream.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that reminds me. So I woke up like an hour before we got on for this podcast, and I shit you not, I had dreams about the 9 realms, and the dreams that I had were better than the show. And it was like some crazy fever dream, multi-dimensional shit, and it still made more sense than anything that happened in this show.
Oh my god, now I'm interested. You should write it down. Write it down, please, and make a
I don't
fanfiction
remember
of it.
most
I
of
would
it,
read
but
it.
I remember it was better. And also, episode 1 Episode 1 has the best ending of any episode in this show I've ever seen. Where the 2 loggers, Dude and Winston, the magical, mystical, ethnicity-changing logger, are back, which I love.
I'm glad he got through this phase, by the way. He didn't do that this season. I didn't notice anyway.
I was looking forward to it, because that's the best thing about this entire show, was that one scene. But now we're standing at the edge of the sinkhole, like memorializing Buzzsaw, I guess. And he just pops up and drags them down like it's a horror movie. That was so good.
Agreed.
I actually haven't seen it. So you turn Buzzsaw into, you know how there's this whole Winnie the Pooh movie? This better serve a blueprint for a Bugs Bunny movie. This is exactly what it was. It pops them from the ground. It's like, what's up? And grabs them. I have a job for you.
There was no reason that he should have been able... It's a sinkhole. We've seen it. It's like a 30-foot drop at least. And he chops up the side and grabs them and drags them.
There's no reason. They should have memorialized him like a month or 2 later.
Actually,
So long.
That's another thing. I thought they were memorializing the third brother because where the fuck is he? There were 3.
To be honest, they were laughing it off after, so obviously they didn't think
He's the
very
smart
high
one.
of him.
I guess he could
But
have...
even
No, they just couldn't afford his voice actor.
He's retired. I'm done with this. 9 rounds. I'm doing this again. I'm out.
But hey, Winston is back.
Yeah.
I love that though,
Luckily.
because they even show you later they need a winch like to lower someone down this hole too, and Buzzsaw's like,
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah!
It's so great.
Holy shit!
This
Buzzsaw did...
sinkhole
Yeah.
just completely
Wow.
either Buzzsaw changes height or this sinkhole changes height all the time, and I love it. It's just completely
No,
inconsistent.
I'm starting to think Buzzsaw is not actually human because
Probably not.
Listen, how did he survive the fall down to the ice from to begin with, and how is he able to climb up that thing? Like, this guy is not human. The show is
Listen.
missing something.
Listen, Tom is superhuman. He has
That's true.
superhuman strength. He was able to move a 2,000-pound boulder and climb up a sheer rock wall holding June. We've established that people in this show are superhuman. So
And
it is
he's
not
super
above my
stretchy.
suspension of disbelief.
It's because
Yeah.
of
Super
the
stretchy.
It all comes back to the comment. Has to.
That's what they're researching.
Oh, yeah.
It all comes back
If
to
that
that
was a
comment
big
that
twist
somehow
at the end of the show, I would actually give it points.
that somehow
it's all
nearly
just
missed the Earth.
a warped reality.
That we're just not talking about it all, by the way. So it's like, if they do clap, I would love it. I don't care if it makes sense or not. I'd love it.
That's all that they're researching. They're just researching these superpowers and some kind of like anti-serum or some serum to get it or to remove it. I mean, it all makes sense.
Okay,
It's the
so
My Hero
episode-
Academia, How to Train Your Dragon crossover you never knew you wanted.
Oh, and now you got it.
So episode 2.
I like how you have to ask.
Well,
What
Episode two?
happened in episode?
Nah, let's
I
just skip
forgot.
that one.
Episode
Welcome
2 is
to
the we give a tour to Tom's mom. You know, we go to the
Okay,
Dragon
yeah.
Zoo, the Hidden World Zoo.
Basically,
This
Tom's
episode
mom
is-
wants to see if the hidden world is safe, so they come up with a plan to give her a tour, but have everything planned so that it looks all safe. And then at the end, she says, "Well, I don't think it's safe, but
no, listen.
or
Is this
something.
the one? Is this the episode which starts with Tom doing charades for his mother? And
Oh
he's
my
acting
God.
like a spazzed out
Oh my
monkey?
God. Okay, my suspicions were confirmed. Tom is a furry. I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Wait.
I fucking called it last season.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
You did.
Yeah.
You
I
did.
think that was this. I think that was this season. Yeah. Oh, this episode. Sorry. Yeah.
It's his one
think
bit
that
of
was this
character
episode.
now.
Someone animated that.
Someone animated that.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
And
Yeah,
we're
that's
like,
true,
yeah, let's
actually.
put this in our kitchen. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it was weirdly accurate, so I'm pretty sure someone's influencing this in the background.
Well, we got furries. We got like a whole adult baby fetish later on in the season.
We got
I
superheroes.
No, man,
We
that
got
one.
eating dragons. We slowly but surely we'll get it. We'll.
I mean, we've
cross
got
it off.
hypnosis suggested in this one as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
So,
this
anyway-
episode was painfully slow, even down to when they figured. Like, I thought the dragon that they introduced was like the ability was kind of cool. The design's really stupid, but
Yeah.
it was really just like they copy and pasted the baby dragons from movie 2 into this and like gave it
Yeah.
some like weird
oh yeah.
things on the side of its head.
Uh,
I thought the dog
And
whistle effect was cool, but they stare at that thing for a good 10-15 seconds before D'Angelo's like, aha, it's that's causing the dragons to go
It
crazy.
took
Like,
so
it
Yeah.
fixates on that thing doing nothing but screaming for 10 seconds. I was like, are you
Yeah.
guys actually that stupid?
Sorry.
Like, I
they
get you couldn't
literally
hear it, but it's like you see its mouth close and then open, and then it's like it takes so long for them to get it.
plus
Yeah.
it's the
Ugh.
only element that is different that could possibly be the issue.
This was
It's
the
the only
episode
thing
as
that
well.
they literally
Go
They
ahead.
literally mentioned in the beginning, oh yeah, that dragon wasn't on the list. What is this dragon? I don't know, but I just got it. And they didn't for 1 second think that maybe was the problem.
Well, at least the magma breather returns, which I love.
I love
True.
my notes. They're like, yay, he made a cameo.
Yes.
He
Yay.
made a cameo.
Yeah. And then also, actually, Audrey, I'm wondering what you'll think of this. That when Tom gives his mom a ride on Thunder, and what again with this freaking canyon, again with those ugly crystals. I'm sure this might be impressive in universe, but no,
I wasn't-
no.
I was not as offended by it as I was the romantic flight ripoff in season 1.
I get you. Oh, the test
But-
drive.
Or that, but it felt more like a ripoff, or not. I don't know if it's fair to call it a ripoff or not, but there was a moment with Stoic and Hiccup in Riders of Berk where he gives
I was
Stoic a
thinking
ride on
that.
Toothless. So,
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I mean, it'd be hard for them to do something else than what they did with it if they were showing Olivia the dragons and this is flying and everything. I actually enjoyed the music during that scene. I thought it was pretty good. The music for this season was, in general, I enjoyed it.
I think there are also moments where they actually play music from the old stuff, at least at some point.
There's a mix for sure, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
straight up.
The last
And no-
time I remember them playing a straight up theme from the original show was when they threw Hiccup's prosthetic leg in the mouth of the snow wraith, and it played Hiccup's theme until it died out as the snow wraith
Yeah.
hit down on it. And I can't even
I don't
hear
even
that
remember
anymore.
that.
Yes,
was-
it happened.
It
happened.
It was just so
yeah.
great.
Oh my god, they knew what they were doing, okay.
Oh
They knew
yeah.
exactly what they were doing, and that's
They
why I was so
knew.
pissed off.
But, not to say that they blatantly just reuse the tracks, but there are like moments where it comes in. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I...
No, that
But-
definitely happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
So another note, because there's really not much to talk about with this. So, besides the one thing about, the Chinese mythology thing, which I talked about before, which, by the way, this is how interesting the episode is that I was barely even watching it and I was texting to see if it's actually true or not. But can we just agree that this entire episode basically happened because Eugene is a dick?
Yeah,
Yeah, this
They-
was
they
the
needed
episode. This is the
a
episode that started.
punching bag of the group,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
again I have issues with.
Mhm.
But
And
they needed a filler episode, I guess, because why develop characters and explore interesting plot lines?
because
You
when you
just
think about
do
it,
that.
think about it, Olivia seeing the hidden world. You could do something with this to develop the plot. What if Buzzsaw strikes? What if people notice her going with Tom and they get suspicious? What? And no, nothing. Just nothing.
Didn't we
Nothing.
establish last season that other rival scientist lady is like always watching her as well? Like she's keeping track of her?
Rolf, this is episode 2. We need to save it for the big season
Oh,
finale.
I get that, but
I
we
mean-
established it last season that she's watching her, and then
Yeah.
they do it again this season to establish like I'm always watching. I'm like,
justifying it. I'm just saying
Okay,
what they were
creepy.
thinking, and what they're thinking that makes no freaking sense.
I mean, I get it. I
Also, this doesn't really have anything to do with the plot, but I thought it was really funny that we don't actually see the fire realm. We just sit in that
Yeah.
awful looking crystal place
Again,
the entire
remember-
episode. They just couldn't afford to animate the fire realm.
Also,
I mean, they had the
guess
assets.
also they probably didn't want to make an armor for Olivia, so
Oh.
But we don't even see it. Like even whenever the magma
yeah.
breather is coming in.
Yeah, I get you, but but I'm also thinking about all the logistical to why, and nothing adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That might
we
have
had
been
an
the reason,
entire
actually.
we had an entire suit made up to explode this thing, and we're never gonna see it again. Good job, GG.
No, we saw the
Well-
suits briefly this episode.
Very briefly.
I will say, in terms of at least one good thing, Alex playing laser with feathers is adorable.
Yes.
It's not a lot, but for God's sakes, it's something.
Yeah.
It's something.
It is.
And also, one of my notes is like, well, that was a conflict.
Well, that was a conflict.
Yeah, I just-
This is
when you
the
think
filler episode to end all filler episodes.
Basically, but I guess it's why I guess I said, well, this was a conflict because once they do this entire tour so that Olivia would see the hidden world is safe, but then there are problems, and it's like, oh no, she's never gonna let me explore with you guys again. And she's like, okay, you've shown that you can take care of yourself, have fun.
But you got to
It's
tell
not
the
like
rest
I
of your
care that
parents.
you nearly died.
You got to tell the rest of your parents, though, and I'll forget like an hour from now, but you need to remember. And that's it.
You need to tell them, not me. Yeah, whatever. We'll get to it. Yeah.
So, episode 3.
I forgot. We do go to the jungle area. This is that.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Yeah.
even realize this was the jungle area. Like, there's no buildup. It's just, this is the new realm, and there's just no
Okay.
buildup. I guess it's because
Honestly,
we
I
just
just
looked
kind of
through a damn
imagined it
hole,
was-
but it's like, what? There's no I forgot.
I can
Listen.
hear that Audrey is gonna be mad. So
I need to
God.
preface all of this with something, okay? I'm gonna be completely honest. I couldn't tell you a majority of what happened in this episode because when I watched it for the first time, I was so blinded by rage at what they set the characters up to do that my brain turned off. It's like how I would describe this to someone. Like, the first 4 minutes are the characters arguing over a chocolate snack, and the rest follows them searching for Hiccup's dead body. Oh, great! They do the big rug pull at the end, which makes it a lot less offensive, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I mean, I watched this episode through a red fog. I couldn't tell you a single thing that happens aside from that.
Okay, so basically you assumed that they already went to the point where they said they went back into the hidden world. You basically thought they were setting that up here with the resting place in the book being described.
Yeah. Which they ended up going back to the hidden world anyways, which is the part that doesn't make any sense to me because they shouldn't be going to the hidden world at all. I made this a huge rant in my season 4 review. But just the fact that I was pissed off when they're like, oh, it's his resting place. We have to find this dude's resting place. And then they did the whole, all I could find was the word hiccup. I guess he had indigestion. I'm like, fuck you!
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I found that pretty funny.
I have a note. I just want to read this note. They made fun of Hiccup. Fuck you, show.
Oh no, I find that pretty hilarious. Because even in the movies, he said, yeah, it's not a great name. So it's not too far-fetched that they would just think that's not a name.
I got something better for you at the end of this episode.
Oh, you know what?
I loved it. It blew my fucking mind.
Oh.
I will say that.
Now.
Oh, go ahead, HC. I'll wait. I can wait.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll just say this real quick and I'll explain why later, but I think if I have to pick a favorite, then kind of like how, Downpour is Audrey's favorite episode for all the wrong reasons, this is mine favorite for all the wrong reasons, at least for this season. This is just pure insanity of an episode. I'll go into details later. Wolf, you want to say something?
So, the end of this episode, they find Hiccup's final resting place, his tree throne.
He's talking about
not his final resting place, just a resting place. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just make that clear.
But they find his name Haddock, and they do a thing, and then Tom goes back to his mom, and they're talking a little bit, and he tells her that this dude's name was Haddock, and she's like, and it blew my fucking mind, Tom. My great-grandfather's name was Haddock. And I just had to sit there and think for just a long moment where your great-grandfather? Not like great-great-great-great-grandfather or anything like that. Great-grandfather.
Yeah.
How did the name Haddock last for that long? I don't know if I believe that.
Hundreds of ancestors. Hundreds.
1,300 years, supposedly, according to you guys. And her great-grandfather. How long did that man live for? Damn.
So there's at least like 20 or 30 generations between that. Then that's true. I didn't even think of that.
It blew my mind when I heard great-grandfather. I had to go back and it's like, I heard that right? They didn't. There wasn't a great-great-grandfather in there. Like, at least that was just great-grandfather. And yeah, it is just great-grandfather, and it just blew my mind.
Okay,
How
I will
long
say
that name has lasted, apparently.
At least we finally put it to an end, that irritating subplot where it's revealed Tom is a descendant of Hiccup. People on Twitter were actually surprised by this. Like, whoa, you'll never guess what's revealed this season. I'm like, bitch, where have you been the past year and a half? I called this when the fucking teaser trailer dropped.
Oh my god, yeah.
The teaser trailer, like, it was so freaking, and this is one of the reasons why this episode is so batshit insane for me, to the point I love it. They tricked this thing as like, oh my god, I know about this Hiccup Haddock, and then it's like, Tom, my great-grandfather was a Haddock, and it's like, it's treated as this big twist when 5 seasons in, when everyone with a half-functioning brain figured this out from the teaser trailer, let alone the first season.
It doesn't really do anything for the rest of the season. Like, they mention it a couple of times, but it doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, but
I mean, Olivia even says, "Yeah, you just do with that information whatever the hell you want to."
I'm gonna tell you
I love that. She's like, "Well, it's up to you, kid."
His beard. This is what I'm gonna do with it.
Oh my god.
I will still continue to hold on. I hope it's just one big rug pull at the end. It's like, nope, it's actually he's not Hiccup's descendant. I hope they do it. I still continue to hope.
Also, how have they decided? So they have decided that Haddock was the family name, but when did Tom decide that? Oh, then Hiccup must be his first name. They never resolved that specifically.
Yeah.
Fun of Hiccup's name at first, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's this guy Hiccup, and it's like, wait, when did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something that they find out later. Like maybe for some reason they're so incompetent they can't even translate the book correctly. Like we saw an entire page full of all the characters, and for some reason no one can decipher anyone's names or who they are. But even that aside,
just never wrote it down.
or that. But which again, with this whole final resting place thing, like, oh, this is the resting place where he came to relax. The show is becoming a parody of itself. Like I was saying, they're like, it's like, oh, we wouldn't actually show Hiccup's gravesite. That would be too offensive. When literally 4 episodes ago, they fed his millennium-old prosthetic leg to a dragon. Are you kidding me?
There you go. But the other thing is that they actually make this fun of, let's find this dude's grave, like for Hiccup or not. This is freaking horrifying. What?
I mean, that's what Alex says. That's too dark even for me.
Yeah, and so they go to find this grave, and then there's a point where I don't remember the context. I just have it in my notes that Eugene suddenly starts arguing with Tom that it's Abraham Lincoln's.
Say again?
Abraham Lincoln?
I missed that. Oh, Abraham Lincoln, the stone. Yes.
Yeah.
He thought he saw like an image of Abraham Lincoln or the KFC guy or the chicken chicken guy, like in the stone with the moss.
Yeah, but confirmed, I guess, Abraham Lincoln and Colonel Sanders are a part of the How to Train Your Dragon universe. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know, but they go. But then they have
been
like
a good show. Abraham Lincoln finding the dragons. Let's go.
Well, the movie wouldn't be a vampire hunter, so what the fuck. Let's do this.
Wasn't that a plot line in Gravity Falls? That one of the presidents found.
Now that you mention it. Okay. Anyway. So then they meet these dragons who are like negotiators, and the designs are very Rescue Riders for some reason.
Well, so was the dragon in episode 2.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, Ian, you're going to kill him, but I was thinking of Gauche when I saw them.
What? Excuse me? Gauche is a masterpiece. How dare you?
Yeah, don't blame me for them looking similar, but anyway. But I'm gonna call them the Doctor Strange one because they bargain. Apparently, that's their thing. They bargain. But then they see them, and like June is again. Oh, they're so cute, and I just have a note. June needs to die.
Okay, well, that was my note back in season 3, first off.
No,
that was just the general in the series by now.
But every time there's like a dragon that looks freaking horrifying to the other, and she's like, oh, it's so cute. It's like, shut up.
Maybe her eyes are just fucked up because they're so like albino purple that she
can't see
properly.
Oh, God.
Maybe I don't know. You wore those lenses for your video. How was it seen with them?
An experience. I read my entire script through a purple haze.
Okay.
Honestly, that's probably how June sees all the time, and that's why she's
I was about to say,
an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just how she sees things. Anyway, so they meet this, and then there's like this alive version of the dragon vine of all things. That's there. Okay, sure.
Yeah, that's that one threw me for a loop because I was like, huh, dragon vine. Interesting, kind of, maybe, sorta. So weird. What a thing.
But anyway, then like so the dragons are stuck with the dragon vine, and then They need to get them out, so they jump over the dragons like Mario does. It's like all that's missing is the boom, boom, boom. That was the freaking Mario jump, and I was laughing. And then they trade D'Angelo's cookies to oh no, they trade the book and Alex's tablet to the dragons in order so that they'll help them. And they freaking pull the dragons from the vines. Like, how strong are these people? Really?
Yeah.
And then
1,000-pound dragons can't pull themselves out of these vines, but some tiny ones hanging in a tree can.
Because they
some
use-
tiny ones hanging
because-
from a tree and humans.
No,
Because-
no.
How
You
does
get
that
it. You
work?
don't get
Isn't
it. It's all about family. They're a family, and so they pull together.
Oh, it's a strength
Yeah.
of family.
Yeah, sure.
No, but still, that sorry. Does anybody know physics better than me? Because that shouldn't work if all of them are off the ground and just one is. That shouldn't be working, right?
You just don't get the
I don't-
strength of family, Ian. Family's stronger
Okay.
than physics, yo.
Yeah, no, I'm just checking. If there's someone who knows physics very well, let me know.
I mean, I compliment this episode for actually introducing more than one conflict, which is very rare for the show. But again, I was so blinded by how much. But I thought they were actually gonna do the grave thing, and I was
Yeah.
so preoccupied
But
with
then-
"Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare!"
But then
Oh my God.
this is the thing that sealed
Blind
it for me
rage.
for hilarity. That sealed it for hilarity for me. That it's not really his grave. It's like it's his resting place. And it's like Hiccup Horrendous had it the third when he was exploring the hidden world, which we established goes against what he believes in the end of the trilogy. Just said, you know what? I'm fucking tired. I'm just gonna make this chair out of a tree so that I could sit in it if I get tired.
Maybe that's
Like-
where he retired or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Retired.
He's retired.
Do you think
You know-
Hiccup would ever retire? We
You know,
all know the
listen,
answer.
No, listen,
Man.
I was telling this to my best friend who is a big Naruto fan, and there's apparently a guy there who was like into trees, and he uses trees to fight or some shit. I'm like, yeah, I guess you didn't know that Hiccup and him are the same apparently. Both of them like retired by trees. They embrace the trees apparently. It's like I was laughing way more than I should have. Maybe I was just maybe just insanity broke at this point.
Yeah,
That's a
I-
good option.
You
But
become Stockholm syndrome.
no.
I still stand by it. This episode proves it to me more, and the more we talk about it, it just, again, I want them so badly to reveal that it's not Hiccup, that it's someone else who either took the Haddock name, or it's like some descendant of Mildew, or some stupid bullshit. Just please give me
no.
something that is absolutely insane.
I
Do
think
you
there's about as-
theories always go to Mildew? I
Because
don't.
Mildew pisses everyone off, and I love that. And he's an old man who makes no fucking sense. And I love that. And I just want this show to do something absolutely insane
There's probably about a
to
good,
make it all worth it.
as good a chance of that happening as there is Tom and Alex getting together at this point.
Only one would be good, but okay.
Oh man, both would be great.
Anything else about episode 3? The fact that it's
No.
Nope.
freaking trip, literally.
No,
I-
actually, how enraged are you still about this episode, Audrey? Because you started with it very enraged, but now that they did the rock pull, how are you feeling?
I was less offended by it by the end. I was.
Okay,
If they had
okay,
actually
so-
gone through with it, it would have been another season finale of season 4 for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where it was just like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now.
I-
But for the
That's-
first 15-20 minutes, I was like, you motherfuckers better not. You better do something.
So you probably need to rewatch it for your review then, because you can't remember anything.
Yes, I absolutely need to.
But another thing I want to say about this is, as a joke, okay? You know what? When they said we're gonna look for his grave, you know what's the first thing that actually popped into my mind?
Oh no.
That episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs goes to dig up the grave, and it's like, because that's the show. That's the entire show. Am I really going to, dishonor this grave for money? Of course I am. And then
Oh
dig it
my
up.
god, you're right.
That's
Oh god.
that's
That is
9 realms.
all of the 9 realms, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
It's
shit.
like I was like, if they actually do it, they are more than self-aware. They didn't, but by God, there was a chance.
Oh my god.
There still might be.
man.
We have potentially more seasons to go.
Oh my god.
Imagine if it was just like Toothless's symbolic grave for Hiccup because he never
No,
came.
we
He just
no.
made
All we
The
need.
more that they delve into pulling from the original franchise, the worse this show gets. And this is something I mentioned to HC a few days ago, that one video I want to make in the future is fixing the 9 realms and what I would do.
Yeah.
First off, no connections to the original franchise. Make it your own
Agreed.
thing. But I mean, if that was I imagine that Universal was like, no, you have to tie it into some degree. So I get that they're just doing what they're probably told to do, but I don't know who to blame. I'm going to blame John because he's the executive producer. If he actually came up with the idea of feeding Hiccup's prosthetic leg to the Snow Wraith, I have no respect for this show or anything that he does with it. I'm not even going to apologize.
Oh man.
Listen, all
Well, sometimes, as they say, sometimes good people make bad art, and yeah.
That wasn't art. That was fucking shit on a
You know
screen.
what I mean? Figure of speech. Let's not go into that. You know that I hate it just as much as you do.
I can't even think about that episode without getting heated.
Yeah.
Honestly,
No,
at some point we
so
really.
let's move on to episode 4 because half a season through, we are almost there.
Oh, man.
So, Scent of a Dragon.
a even more nothing episode than the last nothing episode,
No,
other than
no.
a small moment between June and Eugene, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, they build up this freaking family conflict of like, the mother and daughter don't get along, but the brother is like their mom's little baby. And, there's like this kind of family conflict. By the time they resolve it and like June apologizes to Eugene, I'm like, all right, this was a thing. I completely forgot. And it's like, they treated it as if it like something was learned, something was achieved. Nothing was. Just nothing.
Yeah, the episode was really forgettable. Eugene was an idiot for most of it. June was annoying, and it's like the entire episode was supposed to be, oh, she's annoyed by her brother, but she really does care about him. The only time she showed concern was when he literally fell off a cliff, and then she was like, no. But for the rest of it, she was like giggling at him being kidnapped, and it was just so fake and forced. And I will admit that I kind of liked the last scene where we see a more human side of Eugene and June. It's not backed up by anything that happened in the episode, but it was a nice conversation in a episode that did not earn it at all.
Mm-hmm. Also, they definitely had the opportunity to tell their mother about the dragons in this episode, but that's besides the point,
And this is like, again, this is the episode where they do the thing of like, no, we can't tell them. And my mom's not going to tell them either, even though she literally said 2 episodes ago that you have to tell them. But okay, sure, cool. Your mom's already, I mean, it makes sense. Your mom's forgotten. The comet did weird things to people's brains. I get it.
Honestly,
understand.
he might just know better how his mother's memory works, so he wasn't too concerned about it.
I guess
maybe that's why.
I guess. Actually, when the dragon pushes Eugene,
she's a cave spelunker. She's probably been hit in the head more than once.
Exactly.
When the dragon mama pushes Eugene off the nest, I had a reaction like Audrie did for season 1 when please die, please die, please die.
Oh no. I like Eugene. I just hate what they did with him this season.
But this season, yeah.
Okay, Eugene this season, let's assume he has 9 lives like Puss in Boots, so the other one would be okay. Now, one note I have here, I'm not sure if you'll agree, is like Eugene is like Snuggled on steroids / crack. That's what his character feels like.
Yeah, I said that in my season 4 review whenever I was talking about how likable. Well, how likable they were making him in season 4 when he was like talking about how much Tom screws up as a leader and why shouldn't he be in that position. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why are they treating his character like he's snot level arrogant and everyone else is treating him like that when he's actually making sense? The only difference is now he's not making sense because I think they realize that and they're like, oh no, this character is our like comic relief douchebag kind of dude. We can't have people liking him. So they just reverted back and reversed all the stuff that they did with him last season with character development. It was so stupid.
Yeah, there was such a hard turn of like, hey, I'm actually kind of liking Eugene to this season where it's like he just does stupid shit, pretends like he didn't, complains, and then is just it's just ugh.
I mean, now that you mention it like that, that is really true. Honestly, I didn't like Eugene, but now that you're saying this, I'm thinking like, yeah, I did watch season 4 and 5 at the same time, and I'm just remembering him as an annoying prick, rather than.
And that's another thing, and that's another thing that we were talking about how good of a character development he had previous season, and suddenly, for all intents and purposes, this is a Eugene episode. This is, you could also say June, but who cares? But like, this is like a Eugene episode, and what is happening with him? He put on a new cologne, which makes him smell like a dragon's egg. And the dragon...
At least the June episode this season was shared with Eugene. So at least there's something to this season.
But then it's not like the previous episode where I was like, oh my god, you can't be serious, this is amazing in a bad sense. But apparently we have Buzzsaw's plan.
Buzzsaw is such a non-factor in this episode. This is the last time
I forgot he was in there.
This is the last episode that he's seen in the entire season, and he's barely in it.
He's barely. But then apparently his plan is to bring dragons to the surface and then sell them in a dragon market.
Oh yeah, that's what he said.
Like, wait. Let's break this down. How did you get to that idea? How are you gonna make money out of it? How is this working?
I mean, he's gonna turn the stinky dragon into a tapestry.
Oh my god.
Tapestry, a luxury item or something.
Quality villains, everyone. Because everyone knows if you have an antagonist in a kid's show, just make him a blubbering idiot for all of it, and the audience will fear him.
Yeah. I mean, the henchmen are smarter than him. That's
honestly the only thing that scared me about Buzzsaw is that it's Haley Joel Osment, and I got over it. So nothing about him is scary.
Listen.
Absolutely nothing.
You pair Buzzsaw with that sinkhole, and then he's scary because that shit.
Because of episode.
That's the only time he's scary. He needs the sinkhole. The sinkhole is his power somehow.
Oh no. Okay. Anyway, so I guess nothing. One of my notes is nothing was learned. Yay!
That was a big thing for me. With like even barring the fact that the conversation that June and Eugene had at the end wasn't earned. I thought it was good when he was like, well, the reason mom treats you differently is because she thinks that you're capable of more. That's an interesting concept, and it proves that Eugene doesn't have the mentality of a baby. He's actually aware of things, but I know that they're not going to do anything with it in the future. In the next episode, they're going to act like they hate each other again. This is never going to be mentioned. What's the point?
Yeah, because I was actually like, okay, you know what? If it was actually connected to a better show, if it was connected to better characters, this talk where he told her that, your mom is probably so hard on you because she expects more out of you. And, this is not only, in context of this family, just families in general. I can see, sometimes, siblings would give that kind of talk and support to a younger sibling. That's completely valid. That's like you figured humans out. Good for you, but nothing is done. Nothing is done with this.
It was a sweet moment and immediately forgotten.
Just like Tom's mom's memory.
Yeah,
no,
basically.
Actually, one note I have here.
It seems like the plot lines are as easily forgotten as Tom's memory.
And I'm telling you, man.
Or Tom's mum's memory.
That comet did something. It had to have.
Yeah, most like I hope it did. But one note I have, I barely remember that part of it, but like I did write down Olivia's conflict should be interesting, but I can get into this. So
Oh yeah, this
and
was the episode where she's like trying not to tell the secret, isn't she?
Oh
yeah, and also where they have like
I
the
forgot
defense,
all about that.
where she's
Wow,
where-
this episode was really forgettable, wasn't
Yeah.
yeah, like I also kind of realized that yeah, she was trying to avoid the co-workers
it?
and there was a point where like she is like coming across those sensors, and the angel's father is like, "Oh yeah, I'm sending those here," and it's like I should get into this, but like if she is any sort of a smart parent, she would have known. Okay, those kids didn't tell their parents, and I'm worried.
Also,
Maybe I should do something about this.
I mean, okay, so another thing in this episode, and probably as well, wasn't it the
Oh, it's that bitch.
the
She's
alarm, the alarm's going off? Was that this episode, or was that a different episode? I don't know. In one of the,
next one.
is
You
that
might be
the
thinking
next
of the
one?
next one, yeah.
Is it?
Well,
Because
what
she-
alarms are you talking
She
about?
specifically went to an alarm. The alarm goes off, and it's apparently for animals. And it's
Yeah, that was
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to
that's
episode.
this one. Yeah.
Oh no, this
Yeah,
is
it's
a-
not supposed to
that's a-
trigger for humans. So what? She's an animal?
Yeah, I
Oh,
noticed that
oh,
too.
shit, that- yeah, okay,
That
right,
one
you're
completely
right,
slipped
holy
by
shit.
my mind. Wow.
Yeah. As she walks by it, it goes off, and she starts
Yeah.
freaking out. And then D'Angelo's dad comes up and is like, "Oh, these are new alarms. We have them specially set up to go off when animals walk by and not humans." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
To be fair,
And they go-
considering
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
we've talked about, apparently all of these adults are just completely inept. I mean, it makes sense that they would have the alarm set up backwards somehow.
I don't.
Ah, shit! It's only on humans, not
I
on
don't know
animals.
if I
Yeah.
missed. I don't know if I missed something, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
It's pretty
Oh,
much
man.
that, yeah.
Or we're going back to the superhero part, and she's just actually an animal.
Yeah,
Somehow.
well,
The
no,
comet.
you know,
It's the
like,
comet.
No,
man.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe she's like.
I love Wolf's explanation for everything in this show that's fucked up.
Comet.
It was
Listen,
because
I would
honestly,
be-
what the hell does this comment sell?
I would be
besides
so
this
happy.
sell?
Another thing they could do to make me very happy is just in the background somewhere they have like a thing on a computer screen that's like, and the comet worshippers have blah 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 blah. I would love it. Like, yes,
Oh,
give me
man.
that. Let's just do a thing with the comet. Just have it in the background, like
Yes.
some crazy shit's going on with this comet that nearly hit the Earth. Apparently,
Maybe
Yeah,
John
they
Tellegen
mentioned-
is actually a genius and he's planning all this.
yes.
Yeah,
We don't
If
something.
they
even know.
ever
He's
mentioned
5D
it
chessing us
again.
right now.
Oh man!
Oh.
If they ever mentioned it again, the thing is, he could have just put like little hints in there, and we just never noticed because we were just shitting on the show.
Yeah.
So he could
Yeah.
have just planted little hints.
Honestly, also keep in mind this is episode 4 by this point. I was like, this is half past the season. I'm starting to be done at this point. Maybe something just flew over. I don't.
Do any
Oh,
of us
man.
care enough to go back to look for the little hints about the comet and how much it has done?
Yeah, exactly. honestly, I feel like
I love making fun of it, but I don't know if I want to go back and watch all 5 seasons
Yeah.
just to see.
Well, anyway, shall we move on to episode 5?
Yeah, this
Mhm.
episode was definitely episode 4 was when I went to get a drink and I didn't feel like I missed anything.
Fair.
Okay,
Episode
so
5.
Sting it on.
I like this one, mostly just because it's the speed stingers are back.
Yeah,
it. That's the
this
only-
one was
He's
probably...
going for the nostalgia trap.
Yeah,
I
this
fell
entire
in.
show is just that.
I fell
But
in. I'll admit
this
it.
episode was probably my favorite, which isn't saying a whole lot. Normally, my favorite episode of every season is just the one that's so bad that it's funny. Or you have like last season where there was an actual good episode for once in the entire show, and that was my favorite. But there weren't any of those this season. There weren't even any like specific episodes that were so bad they were funny. It was more
That's the thing.
yeah,
That's
it
the
was
thing that
more
everyone
funny moments sprinkled out through the season, like the one with Buzzsaw at the end of episode 1. That was amazing. And then there's like a couple in this episode and in episode 6 that I thought were just incredible.
That's the
Episode
thing.
6 probably
Are they
came the closest,
intentionally
but yeah.
funny though? That's the question.
Yeah, but this episode didn't. It was bordering on so bad it's funny a few times. Just in general, because the entire plot is Sled Bitch going down to the sinkhole to discover more dragon sight, and Olivia saying to the kids, "No, you can't go down there," which doesn't make any sense to me. So their plan.
Yeah.
Their plan isn't to block off the entrance to the sinkhole, which they have done before. They did it in season 2 when Olivia was exploring the caves. They are perfectly capable of blocking an entrance.
Yeah.
But
And
no,
you know,
their plan is to go down, get Dragon Sight, and then take it to Sled Bitch
Yes.
and not expect her to be like, "Hey, where did you find this? Show me."
Oh yeah, what the
Or
fuck?
just-
Now that you
it's like,
mention it,
oh, there's some
what
down
the
there.
hell?
I can go down there and get even more later. Thanks,
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
It's like, what is your plan?
Well, yeah, I'm like, I literally have a note here, which is, what the fuck, what, huh, what, why, just why? I am just...
I would get it if you were younger, but aren't you supposed to be smart? Again, I come back. The comet did something to people, man. It had to.
Honestly, now that you mention it, holy crap, this episode could have been solved in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
Olivia is a fucking idiot, by the way. So this
That too.
esteemed explorer with degrees out the ass, who's like super experienced, and she's famous. Apparently, she found this fissure. It's named after her. So
I mean, she owns a helicopter.
yeah, and she is going to tell the kids, "No, you can't go down into the realm and look for this crystal for some fucking reason," which I still don't even understand, because she's let them go out the entire rest of the season. So
Yeah.
she decides the solution is to go down by herself without telling anyone to a dragon realm. She didn't know dragons were a thing 3 days ago, and explore by herself to find this crystal, which she doesn't even know if it's there or not. And of
Whoa,
course,
whoa, whoa.
something fucks up and goes wrong.
Whoa, Audrey, she knew about dragons at least 2 weeks, okay? Give us some credit.
In 2 weeks, 3 days, according to the next episode. 3
Yeah.
days.
Wait, what?
It's all. Yeah.
Wait,
the next
no,
episode
no,
puts
She
us-
grounded him. She
HC.
grounded him for a week.
No, yeah, it's a
HC,
week.
what you're thinking of is the last episode. It was episode 4 that she said it. I know, because I made a note because I thought it was so
Oh.
stupid. She was talking to Alex's moms in episode 4, and there's a really quick line where she says, 2 days ago, I found out
yeah.
about, and then
Oh,
she gets cut off.
right. I'm confused.
Oh,
right.
yeah, what the hell?
So it's still wrong, because she knew about it for way longer than 2 days, but for some reason the show is treating it like it's only been a few days.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like she was gonna tell her something completely irrelevant. But, yeah.
Maybe she was gonna tell her, like, "Oh, I found out your kids were doing this thing 2 days ago," which I guess is possible,
I
but I
guess,
feel like
yeah.
more time has passed. I don't know. It doesn't make sense still, but
No,
yeah.
it doesn't. On that note, when they find Olivia and she's been like stung by the spin, her face is freaking horrifying.
I loved it.
That, like, listen, this needs to be a new horror edit, like a jump scare or something.
Hey,
This
it's not
needs-
as terrifying as Thunder's whenever he
It's
gets
not
frozen.
bad. It's not. But there's
That's
a
gonna be my
difference between-
thumbnail for season 5 review.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
most
nice.
likely. But the
Oh.
other thing, though, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's a scene, I think, in one of the scenes at the start where Tom is talking to Olivia, there's a weird out of sync voice, like the entire dialogue seems out
Oh.
of sync.
Yep, I saw that too.
Okay, it's not just me. I'm not going crazy.
Or,
Good.
which scene are you talking about again?
It's not the start. I think it's either, is there a scene where Olivia and Tom are talking like in the on Icarus, but outside, not in their home, but just outside all the huts. I think
I
it's
don't
somewhere
remember
there.
exactly, but I know for a
Mhm.
fact there was a scene with D'Angelo and his. No, it was whenever June and D'Angelo were talking with D'Angelo's dad, and there's a line where D'Angelo says something, and it does not sync with his lips at all.
I didn't
laughable.
notice that, but I noticed that with Tom near the start. If people actually watch this and they know what I'm talking about, list it, because I know it's near the start. I don't remember exactly what, but it's somewhere in there. Let me know.
Yeah. So in general, this episode was like the most enjoyable for me, again, because it was so ridiculous at times that it was just funny. Also because Tom, Alex, and Eugene spend it together, which are my 3 favorite characters in the show, so I thought that was cool. And it was cool seeing the Speed Stingers again. They made for the best action in arguably the entire season, but it's like the dragons kept forgetting that they have wings and they can just avoid their attacks by flying upright, because they were just sitting ducks for most of it. There's actually a scene where Eugene is with Webmaster and they're just surrounded by Speed Stingers. They're fine. They can fly out of there, but they just don't.
And the other thing, did you notice the little moment of flirtation between Alex and Eugene?
Yes, I did.
I was going to ask about that too.
Yeah. It's like, again, talking about something that they kind of established maybe, and then like, here it is again, bye, and nothing else. But
yeah, a lot of people make the argument that, that scene from season 4 with them that you're like freaking out about with them being flirtatious, that wasn't actually them being flirtatious. They're just friends.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. That's the thing. We don't know. For all we know, Eugene and D'Angelo are gonna end up together. I'll believe everything.
Oh man.
Yeah, why not?
I think it's gonna be June and Alex. Yeah.
Well, they did have that whole shipping thing in season 2.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
No!
Have I just spoiled the end?
It's the only way they can make June likable. To pair her with Alex.
No, listen.
That's why I want her to be with Tom, because she's the only likable character.
Yeah. And I will say, if this show ends with Sled Bitch and Bassa getting married, and the altar is near that freaking asteroid, I'm forgiving everything.
Give me something. Do it.
I don't think she would ever go with Bassa after season. What was it? 3,
I don't care. I don't care. I just want to laugh at something. Can you give me that?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, we've already said a lot of things that we want to see, and we
I loved how ridiculous the Speed Stinger stings were, where some people it would freeze, some people would kind of like. I loved how there's apparently a delayed reaction to the Speed Stinger venom now as well.
Yeah.
Where before it was a lot quicker, if I'm not
between
mistaken, and now it's like, oh, Eugene, he gets mostly frozen up to just like his neck, and he can just kind of move his head around a little bit and talk still, and it's like, yay.
Yeah, in the original franchise, they did that too, but it was because it was a baby Speed Stinger.
Mm-hmm.
So its venom wasn't
no, but that was like partially. They didn't. I forget.
In
the word.
here, they say he like only got grazed by it, but it's still kind of weird because that's not the way it looks in the animation. But oh well. But in the original show, if I'm not mistaken, it was a baby Speed Stinger that they got stung by, so it made more sense that it wasn't completely frozen because his venom wasn't really as strong.
Also,
they were only partially paralyzed.
Also, question: there's this thing where apparently, when they get the idea of how to defeat them, so Thunder does the vanishing thing that Toothless and the Light Fury can do. Did he ever do that before?
Yeah, he's done it a few times before.
Yeah, he's done it.
Did he? I don't remember exactly because I felt like.
Yeah, that's where the boom boom goodbye thing or whatever Tom calls it came from.
I hated that.
It's so stupid.
Tom says this again, like, wait, this is what it was called? I don't remember it being like that, but okay.
I don't remember it being called like that, but I do remember that they did it before.
I remember this one because it's like, okay, so we have Toothless Plasma Blast, and then we have time for the boom boom goodbye.
Yeah, that was a big thing in my season 1 review.
Right, you mentioned that too, but it's like yeah, we are a freaking magic trick now, apparently.
That's why I normally call my farts boom boom goodbye.
But
Okay.
the other thing though, I just want to say, if Thunder wasn't creepy enough, him being freaking frozen is just ugh,
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was pretty great. Also, you guys are forgetting the best scene in this episode when Sled Bitch goes down the sinkhole and then they have her be
yes,
attacked by the speed stinger and it's edited
yes,
like a horror movie jump
yeah,
scare. I was like, holy fuck!
yeah. It was like Sam Raimi took over for a second. It was amazing.
Oh man. Yeah, there's something with that sinkhole and horror. It's just
Yeah.
it just
I'm
happens
telling you,
there.
man.
That sinkhole has like stolen the entire show.
It's best
Yeah.
character.
But the other thing,
Sinkhole
actually,
best character.
two more things, because we mentioned that this was amazing, but two things. When D'Angelo and June are trying to distract Sledbridge, there's a point where June actually tells her, I've read your book, and Sledbridge is actually going, well, let's find a copy and converse about it. One, you dumb bitch. Two, I actually have a note here. What was it? Let me find it real quick. Oh, okay. Bitch and bitch conversing. This works, I guess.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, I'm glad someone else
Oh,
saw that
man.
because Sledbitch and June have incredible chemistry. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it
True.
makes sense. They're both
Shit,
assholes.
I personally
Oh, man.
enjoyed, Dad, like it's great that you follow the rules and have your winch certification online and everything. I'm like,
Twice a year.
it's like, what? No way, this is a thing. And it's like, well, we gotta wait. I gotta make sure I got my winch certification. I'm like, oh my god, that's a thing. Please.
Okay.
That's incredible.
I love
Okay,
it, but okay.
As someone in the military, you have to certify everything.
I
that you
guess,
do.
but it's
you have
just
to do
so
a billion.
ridiculous.
So it was ridiculous, but I thought it was kind of funny because it just shows how much D'Angelo is like hyper aware of his dad, and I thought that was kind of cute.
No, it's
Hmm.
just it's ridiculous, but I do love it.
Yeah.
But again, D'Angelo has nothing to do this season aside
Fair.
from just be a side character.
Fair.
And now we know how close he is with his dad. Again, I mean, there's a reminder, at least in this episode, of it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
D'Angelo's
got
whole thing
10
with his-
seconds.
Yeah. D'Angelo's whole thing with his dad has always been that I guess he's overbearing and wants him to do certain things, but they never explore that at
Nope.
all. It's always
And you
such
know
a
what's
non-issue.
It's only like a friend told me this, and I sadly now I hear it, that D'Angelo's voice actor also voices Bo in She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And what is
Mhm.
his thing, that like he is the son to two overprotective fathers, so it's like this guy is getting like a stereotyped cast, like
Typecast as obedient
it's
son.
typecast, yeah. Apparently this is a weird typecast, but okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just thought it
So-
was weird because in the beginning they really marketed D'Angelo as like one of the central characters, and Marcus Scribner, his voice actor, was doing all sorts of interviews with John, and now he's like barely in the show.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he did his thing. It's like, was my paycheck? Thank you, bye. And
I get
I
it.
still has quite a
I
couple
was in
lines.
She-Ra. I have some sort of credibility.
Mm.
Wow.
So
Wow.
anyway, the
Not
other
10.
thing I will say here is, so there's the point where Tom is like giving Olivia this heartfelt conversation as she's frozen. It's like, I know you're protecting me, but like we can protect ourselves, and we can. It's like it's one of those moments that's like it could have been there. It could go there. It can maybe work, but I have the rest of the show to think about. So with the rest of the show, this doesn't work. But it's like
I know.
can
I
see
think
I can see the glimmer of hope. I can see it shining, but no.
Yeah, but I think with the comparison that he did with his mum going down there without him knowing, or
Yeah.
and the comparison
again-
that he just went, oh yeah, I've been doing that like months. I don't know. I felt like that was pretty.
But to me, this just felt like the show like kind of became self-aware. Like, wait a minute, if Olivia does this, then she's no better than Tom. She's basically doing what he did, and she will get away scot-free because she's an adult and he's a kid. So we need to bring this up somehow. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly cynical at this point.
I'm extremely cynical of that part because
Okay.
what was the line like? Oh, having a kid is like your heart walking outside of your body.
Yes.
First off, I have 23 years worth of mommy issues that proves that is not true. Second off, again, it would mean more if Olivia had shown any concern for Tom before the tail end of last season. But the first 3.5 seasons, she doesn't give a fuck about where he is or where he's at. She just trusts him, even though he's getting into life-threatening situations every day, and she's just such a negligent parent.
And I think, and this is a problem with the entire show, I think what they were trying to imply is that she's too busy with her job to notice. Fuckers don't do anything.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Yeah.
They do something. We don't know what. They do something, though.
I mean, Olivia looks at stones. A little too closely at stones, if you ask me. I mean...
That's all I have on episode 5. Also, just the last note is what I brought up earlier, that it ends the exact same way as episode 2. So I guess they just ran out of ideas.
So, season finale.
I love how this entire episode can literally just be summed up by a comedy of errors. That
no. Listen,
works out.
I was typing this for the record. I was typing this to Jaya as she was streaming this. I wasn't sure she's gonna see my message on it, but I just said, drunk drivers are apparently a thing in the How to Train Your Dragon universe now.
She wasn't even drunk, though. That's the problem.
No, she was drunk.
Well, how do you know, Wolf? How do you know?
She
definitely seemed like
it. Hey, we got an entire animation test of drunk hiccup back around when the second movie came out. We know that being drunk is a thing.
Yeah. But
in the third movie, it was featured.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, but this is a plot point. This is the plot point that this bitch is driving a truck on an icy road with the music going in full volume, and it's like, oh no, she ran into. Who could have seen that coming?
We are getting so ahead of ourselves right now. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. These adults.
Oh man.
So I just want to get the small potatoes out of the way now, because then, like, at the end, she just shows up after everything wraps up, and it's like. Like this show.
These adults are a whole new level of incompetent this episode. Yeah. Okay,
you gotta remember they all have certificates and really high education. By the way,
education is fine.
Please.
Go ahead.
Scandinavian Research Center. With no winter gear or supplies. I guess it's winter now, but they don't have anything for it. Their generator fucks up, and they haven't called for help before that happens. I guess this giant freeze moved in 30 seconds, so they weren't able to get a hold of anyone. And again, if you think anyone would be prepared for a situation like this, it would be a scientific research center on the side of a cliff in Scandinavia. But no, apparently it's just completely takes them by surprise. And then we get to, I'm jumping around like crazy. We get to the helicopter scene. I timed it. It took less than 20 seconds for the helicopter to start crashing.
Yeah.
But they had to try, okay?
We need to correct the record.
That's the thing, too. No one was in immediate danger. They were fine. There's no reason they needed to leave right then. They could have started a fire. They had food.
Also, sorry. Couldn't they've just driven back with another? I'm guessing that's not the only fan/car. Couldn't they've just driven back to that other outpost?
Yeah,
just the one.
Just the one. Okay.
And I also want to point out, we need to correct the record. We need to correct the record. They had one winter coat. Sled can put it on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, in her defense, she was hospitalized. Okay, so
by the way, she's.
You're breaking
nice
up
to know
somewhat,
that she's
what was that?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it seems to
Can
be
you
fine.
hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, I'm glad that she was that they say, oh, she got better and everything, and we also see that the effect of Stingray vanishes after a certain point. But apparently 3 days have passed, and that she needs to sneak out of the hospital because why were they keeping her hostage there? What?
I think that's mostly because they wanted to do research on her, because they thought it was some kind of snake, some venomous snake, probably. So they probably just wanted to do
That's the
research.
thing that
I can see that happening.
I can see it too, but 3 days and like the way you just tell me that they let her go. There's no reason for her to sneak out besides the fact that we're trying to make her a villain.
Yeah, true.
Keyword being
Also,
tried.
we need to applaud Tom's master plan once again, because in the last episode it was him not blocking off the sinkhole. It was just him going to get Dragonsight and handing it to Sled Bitch to, I guess, satisfy her. In this episode, it's not, hey, let's go get the dragons so we can, like, maybe go somewhere where we can get service and get help. It's, let's go get the dragons because they can start a fire for the adults and we can warm up.
No, that was the other kids, and Tom said no.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. There was the other kids, but how fucking stupid do you have to be like, oh, they can start a fire? You don't have lighters and like matches and gasoline or anything at this fucking research facility?
No, that was the emergency supplies in the fan. Don't you get it?
That we keep like at a ranger station miles away.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
we're a research station. We keep one winter coat for one person. That's it.
Just in case it is a breezy night.
It's so
No,
stupid.
but I think the context of that was that they already wanted to tell their parents, so they were just like, well, let's just bring them up and they can help. And I think that was the context of why they wanted to bring up. Only Tom was still against it.
Like, listen, people change motives in this because so when we start this episode, let's ignore the other season for a second, okay? Let's focus just on this. So the other kids want to tell their parents about the dragons, and Tom is like, no, we can't. Now the entire island freezes because who would have thought Scandinavia freezes? Who would have thought? So Tom is like, no, we can't use the dragons. But it's the only way to keep us warm. So they start heading towards the version, and then there's like the supposed like moral talk about like if keeping the secret is actually a good idea. Which one, as I mentioned, you're pretty bad at keeping this secret because ever since you made the decision to not show Thunder to any of the humans, June discovered, the Angel discovered, Alex did, Bassa did, now Linda did, Olivia did. How many people know about the dragons right now? Fuck your secret. Everyone is gonna find out eventually with the way you do things.
Also, besides that, Tom's mom is saying it, all the kids are saying it. Why don't they just do it? Why are they listening to only Tom?
Yeah, that's another thing.
What
kind of authority does this? And then
he gives no reasonable reason, and they still listen to him.
Yeah, and especially Eugene, who's always gonna, why not do this? This would have been a great character moment. How about Eugene actually showing the dragons to the parents and that being the right thing to do?
Yeah, right. Fair
enough. I go back to what I say earlier this was the thing I was talking about. The screenwriters knew that they were going to have to come to a point where the adults find out about the dragons. But it feels like they didn't plan how that was going to happen or what the reaction and consequences were going to be until they got to this episode. Because it doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. I'm about to get to this, but before I was going to this point where the other kids are trying to convince Tom, and he like maybe starts thinking about it, and then for no other reason he mentions Hiccup's intent on keeping the humans and dragons separated, and the entire debate of like, is it good that humans would know about dragons thing comes into play. One interesting idea not to drop this at the end of season 5. This should have been the conflict surrounding the entire show, maybe. Two, I just when he mentioned Hiccup and they kind of did play the music and it was like, maybe you should do what you should. It's like, I'm like, how dare you speak his name? How dare you stand where he once stood?
You know what? There was a moment where he said, I can't bring humans and dragons together. I'm no Hiccup. I was like, you're goddamn motherfucking right, you're no Hiccup. That is the first true thing you've said in 5 seasons. Thank you.
That's one of the things I loudly screamed when he said that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is said that's 100% sensible. He's not Hiccup. He will never be. And I don't want him to be Hiccup, but I want him to be likable.
Yeah.
So eventually they bring the dragons up. Sled Bitch sees Thunder, and for some reason she's not horrified by this monstrosity. And
surprisingly, no one is. Surprisingly, everybody's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, but she thinks.
I guess we're used to it.
Thunder is the dragon who stung her in the hole.
Yeah.
Because of course.
Which, I mean, I guess it was dark, but are they the same size?
No.
I love how.
How could he sting with his tail? It's not sharp.
She's a scientist, not a biologist here, Ian.
Yeah,
come on.
Fine. She looks at rocks, not organs. That's fair.
I don't know anymore.
I love how, though, like, it's always Thunder that gets blamed. I love it and gets all the hatred. I love it.
I just quickly. I showed a friend of mine, she only knows the 9 realms is a thing, but she never saw anything of it. So I just, for the sake of it, I just sent her a gif of Thunder, and her legit response was, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh God.
So
Poor Thunder. Poor Thunder.
Eventually, also this is one of my notes is apparently Linda is in an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh yeah, she thought she was being abducted by aliens.
I love that. It was so stupid, but it was so great.
That was pretty funny, to be honest.
Now that I think about it, the entire 9 realms is kind of like a Shyamalan movie. It makes no sense, but it gets to laugh.
It's a weird adaptation of the source material. It doesn't make sense. I mean, all the things add up.
There's no TV showing Berk anyway. So another note I have is that Olivia's voice actor sounds so bored when she's supposed to be mad at Tom. She sounds bored as shit.
Okay, can I tell you something that is completely unrelated? Julia Stiles is her voice actor, and I recently watched the new Orphan horror movie, Orphan First Kill, and she's in it. She plays a mom, and if you haven't seen the Orphan movies, the whole gist of it is she, like, intrudes in these families, inserts herself as the daughter so she can kill the mother and like get with the father because she's an adult. And the entire runtime I was like, please kill her, please, I want to see the mom die. Because I recognized it immediately. I was like, I've heard that voice in my nightmares before. Where is it from? I looked it up and it was Tom's mother's voice actor. I was like, please die. And it was great.
You know, now that I think I saw a trailer for it. Oh my god, yes, that was it. Now I know why the voice sounded familiar. Holy shit. Oh, okay, so I'm with you.
I just don't think she's a very strong voice actor. She just talks completely how she would in like
either
normal day-to-day conversation.
Oh, maybe it's direction. Maybe she just didn't care. It's a paycheck. You may never know.
Maybe they only did one line of each line. You know.
Well, just whenever you have the amazing performances from the original franchise, like Jay Baruchel won an Emmy for it. I mean, when you're comparing the two, it's really.
And when you're comparing, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but there was an interview before the second movie where someone asked Jay Baruchel about him reprising Hiccup for the show, when in other cases they would just get some other voice actor to do it. And he said, I think it's important for an actor to take ownership of a character. And when they said that Hiccup is gonna have life on TV, I just knew I had to do it. And he and America Ferrera continuously said, we never left these characters. We voiced them for so long, we can't think to a time when we didn't. And it's like, take that and just listen to these voice deliveries. Nobody cares.
That's true.
No one cares. Which, there are so many talented voice actors. I mean, Jeremy Shada, come on. Which he's probably the most competent out of any of them. But the rest of them, aside from maybe Amy Garcia, I also like her as Alex. But because she doesn't sound like that, and if you hear her talk in interviews, she speaks with a different dialect with Alex. You can tell she's trying. Everyone else, though, just sounds so bored.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned, Bo's Bo. I want to say that D'Angelo is also Bo in Shiva, as I mentioned, and other stuff. They are talented people. It's just, I guess, again, maybe sometimes they gotta eat. They gotta do a paycheck. So, director likes it. Cool. Moving on.
It's sad.
I mean, Jay screamed about being a stable boy, for Christ's sake.
Stable boy.
Stable boy.
Come on, Hiccup.
Oh man. So great.
Should
Anyway,
Audrie,
this
should
show.
should we bring up in comparison Jay's cameo in the Magic School Bus reboot and whatever the hell that
was?
Oh, I made a whole video on it. I don't need to reiterate.
Yeah.
All that you need to know is that apparently Jay Baruchel is the dealer of the teacher for Magic School Bus.
Yeah. He works at a secluded farm where he grows miscellaneous plants that Miss Frizz for some reason knows about. So there you go.
No reasons.
No reason.
I get it.
No reason.
Anyways, we're getting very off
Jay Baruchel was a
anyway.
great cast for that. Anyway.
So let's actually finish this. So
can we talk about the helicopter scene now?
Yeah. I'm going to say. So we get the helicopter, which freezes without fail, and
20 seconds. It was 20 seconds.
Yeah, and here's the thing that annoys me to no end. If this show were competent, if this show actually had me invested in some way, if there was any sort of effort that I would have seen, I would have said, you know what? The scene where the kids and the dragons save the helicopter and reveal the dragon's existence. Also, you know what? This scene, I admit, I don't think is bad. I don't listen. It's not perfect, but I would say, you know what? This could have been a good conclusion-ish, but here's the thing that doesn't make it work. I don't care. I can't care. I don't like any of these people. I don't feel anything, and they want you to feel something because it's supposed to be this big dramatic thing, I assume. So let's say this. Did anybody feel something in this scene?
I laughed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something to feel.
When Olivia fell out of the helicopter, I thought she was about to get decapitated by the rotors.
That's the way it looked, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So
fair.
good.
Okay, that's fair. That was funny. But I mean, everything after. When she said, Tom, everyone can see us. And it's like, yeah, I know. And like D'Angelo saving his father. And it's like, hey, Dad. And, you're supposed to and right in the fields. We were building up to this. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's just kind of a given with everything in this show, which I feel like this is kind of the answer I've been given to everything basically every season, is I don't care about any of these characters. You haven't given me any reason to. The reason I have such a big issue with this season being nothing but filler is because you should have spent that time getting me to care about them. That is your job as a show who wants to be compelling and have this big, grandiose reveal where I'm supposed to care about these people and their parents' reaction to this big thing that's a huge part of their lives now. And I just don't, because you didn't spend any time or effort doing that. So what
There
do you
you go.
expect?
Yep.
And
That's fair.
but and that's the annoying part, because I would say, again, it's not perfect, but the way they kind of did this, the way it's somewhat written, the way they reveal, do it like gradually, and the way that each kid kind of did something for their parent and something, it should have worked. Like, again, I can see the glimpse. I can see something here.
Did they do it
There is
gradually
someone,
though?
there's someone who wants to get something across there. There's someone who did want to do a legit, competent How to Train Your Dragon in modern day. But it's not there because the rest of the show is so shit, and because this scene, as much as it has good intentions, it still fucks up because it's hilarious. As we said, we are supposed to care for Olivia falling down the chopper, but we are just laughing at the fact that she might die. This is not how it works. This is not how it works.
The biggest
Haha, she's falling to a doom. Oh,
the
damn it.
biggest thing, right, is that they at least needed us to care about the conflict. At the very least, care about the conflict of reveal the dragons or don't. And like, there's a hint of this idea that they're putting forward of like, hey, but if we reveal the dragons, capitalism, essentially, really, let's go with that. Like, fuck capitalism is pretty much the idea. It's like, I get that. Fuck capitalism. I'm there for you. Let's go, comrade. But, the issue, right, is that there's nothing that's been revealed about Rake Corp, other than maybe if you go back to like Alex's mom's with the glowworm, but that with the glowworm, fuck me, with the fireworm that they called Glowy. Like, if you go back to that, maybe you can get a little bit of like, oh, this is what Rake Corp would do to the dragons, but that wasn't really Rake Corp. That was just them not knowing. And it comes back to this thing of, all right, you revealed them now. Like, yeah, we can go into a season 6 and you can do, all the things of like, this is how Rake Corp's going to come in and like take advantage of the dragons or blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you've just built nothing up for that. And it's just, it sucks because there's such a great idea there of what you can do with that and how that would work in a modern day. And you just built nothing up for that.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about things that would be difficult to do. Like, you can talk all you want about the realms and how there are so many missed opportunities with dragons. I get that they're limited with time and budget and they have a lot of restrictions. But this is just basic narrative stuff that we're talking about. This is all in the screenplay. They could have accomplished this if they had more time to plan it out. But even so, I mean, we're coming up with this stuff as we're sitting here on a podcast. So they couldn't think of it in the years of production that they had. And I'm not trying to say that our ideas are perfect, but at least it's something. Like, developing the narrative and, like we were talking about, making us care about this. It's just,
and the other thing,
I'm bewildered how they weren't able to pick up on this as people getting paid by $1 billion corporation to write this show. I don't get it.
And the other
Because they
thing,
were
and the other
being
thing
paid
that's
too little
kinda
by the $1 billion company.
Yeah.
one probably that they don't have the time or money, but considering like what Audrie said, you can say, and I know that the budget and the budget and time is a problem. I'm not gonna say it's not a problem, but in something like this, a budget and a time is not necessarily an excuse for a story just failing at its most basic form. We can talk about how much the animation isn't really good or how much it's floaty and the action is not exciting, but here's the thing. You have a budget. You can also plan around the budget, which I feel like no one really did. And like we said, I know that you need to pay the screenwriters, right? But at the same time, a good screenwriter, if you give him at least like maybe a week, he can turn in something good. And considering how many edits there are and stuff, you could still get something out of here. And again, you can't tell me that there isn't a problem when your supposed big reveal this season is Tom being related to Hiccup, which everyone figured since day one.
Yep. Well, I
And
mean,
they
the
don't
big
even do
thing as
anything
well.
with it.
Yeah,
There you
also,
go.
the big thing this season was that they were building up to the dragons being revealed to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it feels like, at least. But even that
mean,
just
that's-
is so. It's the season ender. It's what we end with. So we're gonna come back next season. We're gonna see what all's going on with how they get along with the dragons and what all happens now, and what all they
And how
all
he's
their
going to
parents
lock them
react.
up in the hidden world again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like there was so much opportunity. Instead of showing the dragons to all the people at Icarus, like Sled Bitch included, what if the kids had told their parents about the dragons and we had a season where it was just their parents trusting them and then trying to keep the secret along with them? Like when they're exploring the fissure and Sled Bitch wants to go to a certain part that they know are dragons. Oh, well, we shouldn't do that because of this reason. It would not only bond explore the bond between parent and child even more, and maybe we could get more into June's bad relationship with her mom or some issues with D'Angelo and his dad, something. We could explore that. But instead, they just jump to this giant reveal, and I don't know how they're gonna stick the landing with this thing because they cut off so abruptly with everything going to shit.
This is the next thing I was about to bring up. That you have this big moment of like the kids are like, "Hey mom, look at our dragon," and like, "Hey dad, this is this. Here's our dragons." And then suddenly there's like this. Linda shows up. There's like a commenting, and then Tom just says, "This is gonna take some getting used to." Cut. See you next season.
You know what this really, really feels like? And I know we've touched on it. This feels like a fan fiction. Not even just in the sense of things not really adding up in terms of what's going on with the narrative, but also just think about fan fictions. They're normally released chapter by chapter. And the writer, I know there are some really talented fanfic writers, believe me, I know. But a majority of people just kind of make up the thing as they go along. So it feels like this show is just making itself up as it goes along. And it's almost like when you're writing a fan fiction and you're like struggling to get through a chapter and finally you finish on this big grand thing and you're like, "Oh, finally I'm done." And then you think, "Wait, what am I supposed to do with this next?" And you just don't know what you're supposed to do. I feel like that's where the writers for this show are right now. What are they going to do?
But listen, someone please make an edit of like Tom saying this might take some getting used to, and then it ends with like a laugh track and like the Seinfeld theme or like the do. That's what it felt like. It felt like a sitcom ending.
My assumption is that we're finally end up seeing Rake at some point, and he's going to be the big bad villain, and it's like going to be everyone versus him. It's like, because again, capitalism, rah, and blah blah blah, right?
And then that bitch is gonna get a redemption arc.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. Because if you're going to introduce a big bad, you need to introduce them earlier on in the story than season 6, 7.
The other thing is like, at the very least, even if you don't introduce like Rake, the owner of Rake Corp, at least like make the corporation seem like it's actually something that's not great, right?
Like the Dragon Hunters in Race to the Edge. We didn't even see Vigo until the finale of season 2, but we heard about him through Riker and through the Dragon Hunters, and it was intimidating.
And also, I know that people are very on and on about this, but let's go back to Johan. He was only made a villain for the final season, really, but we knew who he was. We saw him. It was a twist. There was something to do with this. There was some stakes here. Here, I completely forgot that they talked about the person who's somewhere doing nothing.
We're
so
assuming
glad.
that this is even going to be a thing
Yeah,
that
no,
happens.
it may not.
Like,
Absolutely.
we don't even know.
But like, it's the thing that
But-
makes
but
the
at the
most
same
sense
time,
of what they've
let's assume
done
they
so
do.
far. But it's like even that is a stretch because I have
Yeah.
no clue where they could go.
I
from this
assume
point.
Buzzsaw is gonna come in at some point and be
Yeah.
because I think he's
No,
irredeemable.
they're gonna
at
forget
this
about
point.
him. They're gonna forget about him. I mean, honestly, they've forgotten about so many plot points. He's just gonna be forgotten in the realms, you know.
I don't know. I don't
He's
know
just gonna
because
come back in like season 10 somewhere. He's gonna come back.
He's still in the
Well,
ice
he's been
okay.
room,
like a
man.
thorn in the side of the writers so far. They set him up as this big, huge, terrible villain with no moral compass, but he's not a threat at all.
He'll
No.
have moved
He's
on
not-
from the ice realm to the fire realm with his ice cages that somehow still work there.
Yeah.
Well, no, now it's lava cages.
just-
Oh yeah,
I just
I'm
don't-
sorry. He somehow knows
Because-
how to shape lava. Forgive me.
Yeah, like because honestly, because they building up to be this, if not the big bad, but then like the dagger maybe, but that's the thing. Dagger was intimidating, and for a while he was the big bad for like Defenders and the first season of Race to the Edge. He was the big bad. He was and we knew what he wanted at all times. Bassa just kind of does whatever the fuck he feels like. I'm not
get it
sure.
now.
Oh,
Buzzsaw's
right.
a
You remember?
cryptid.
You remember that his grandfather had a logging company and that he was in the business since he was born. Yeah, I don't.
I get it
I
now.
don't think the writers even do.
What do you get, Wolf?
Buzzsaw's a cryptid. That they,
What?
Buzzsaw's a cryptid. It makes sense
Okay.
now. I get it. That's why he's able to
We're
just
watching
do
one
the
of his
things he's able to
conspiracy
do.
theories play out in real time right now.
Oh, my
No,
God.
listen. I think Basta should just, maybe he should just be a conspiracy YouTuber.
Yeah, maybe a
I'm
House of
consi-
Train Dragon specific
Listen, you gotta-
conspiracy.
You gotta let me have the conspiracy theories. It's the only thing that makes this show more enjoyable.
But where do the rescue riders come into conspiracies with this?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Just...
Yeah.
Well, half the
Uh,
dragons look like they're from Rescue Riders, so
Some of them are. We know,
and that's not by
in season
stylistic
2.
choice.
In the first episode of season 2, those dragons are literally from Rescue Riders.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I believe
That-
so.
Freaking brony flashlights.
I mean, oh god. The only difference is that I actually somewhat enjoyed Rescue Riders, whereas this, honestly, I feel like I haven't watched season 4 until now because I've just been avoiding it.
No. I don't blame you.
Well,
Season 4 is worst.
yeah.
I
So
mean, just thinking about antagonists, if we're gonna finish this off, so far we have Sled Bitch and
Is she
I love
an
how we're all just
antagonist?
collectively calling her Sled Bitch.
I
Honestly,
don't know what
when-
she's named anymore.
but I will say this though. One, her real name does kind of sound like Sled Bitch, so who cares? But two, maybe
is her
we should
name?
just
Sledkin.
Name is
I didn't
Sledkin.
know.
Sledkin.
So the other thing, if we're gonna talk about what do we see for season 6, like what do we want, what do we think? Might as well just do this.
What do we
one
want?
I know what I want. Comment. Give me the
Okay.
comment.
No, actually, I have a theory. I hope I'm right. That season 6 is gonna be the final season.
Oh.
I don't know. It feels fitting. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass here, but it seems fitting.
I kind of hope not. I kind of
Nah, I
hope
doubt it.
not.
I hope
don't-
it is
it's not-
because that means that Wolf. I want it to be the final season because
'Cause
that
you want it to be
this will mean
done,
the
I know.
culture will end.
Don't get me wrong.
That's-
I don't disagree with that statement. I want it to be done too, but I want them
There's
to be
so
able
many
to do.
things to finish.
Yes, so many things. I desperately want this show to be better than what it is, and it's like season 6. Season 6, if they do the whole thing with like them versus Rake Corp And like maybe we can still get the stuff of them between like, you know, June and her mom, where it's like June, you know, head in the clouds mythology stuff, and her mom like more logical science focused. Like you could do something there. I want to see that stuff at the very least. And I hope it's good. It's probably not going to be good, but it's like I want to hope. And it's like a season 6 is not enough time for them to do all that, because it's only going to be 5 more episodes or 6 more episodes, and it's like that's not enough.
Probably 7.
Yeah, probably 7.
So it's like, you know, I would like to have them get at least 1, maybe 2 more seasons to see them do more of that. But
wait, you're saying you want more character development? That's a big ask.
I know.
Like,
I'm asking a lot.
Yeah, I feel very mixed about it. I'm kind of with Wolf. I don't think season 6 is going to be the last, just because think of how painfully slow all of the character arcs in this show have been. I mean, we know nothing about June's dad, who apparently means so much to her. We know nothing about Tom's dad, who ran off. We know nothing about, you know, all sorts of things that they have set up and not explored. So the idea that everything's going to conclude in 7 more episodes around all of the... And that's another thing, too. We haven't discovered all 9 realms yet, so I imagine it's going to take more time.
You're right.
What?
I just said that you're right. I'm just...
I think it's last season.
But also, what else can we really do now that the dragons are out? Are gonna...
I don't think that they're going to be able to do anything. That's why I'm totally not hopeful. I had no hope for this season even. After what they did in season 4, I am expecting actual nothing. I have no respect left for this show or what they choose to do with it, because I know that it's built off of this complete disrespect for the original franchise, so I don't care anymore. I'm entertained to see what they're going to do, because if they pull some more ridiculous shit like the season finale this time around, originally I would say fuck this show, it needs to end. Right now I'm like, no, keep going, I want to see what you can do next with this bullshit.
Season 6
how deep can we dig the hole?
Yeah.
Season 6 is gonna commit some war crimes against Mediterranean Dragon, don't you?
I will say,
and I will be there to execute them. How about that?
Yeah. No, you know something? You just said, dig the hole deeper. I'm like, yeah, we need more holes. Apparently, they give us the best source of entertainment in this show. Whenever someone goes down a hole,
we need more sinkholes. Yep. Yeah, we need more sinkholes and we need more bus saws with them.
But I will say one thing I do want to point out.
Just a clone of him.
Yeah, but another thing, I know this is not gonna happen but now that the mystery, in quotes, is done, and we know that Tom is related to Hiccup, let's ease up on connections to the main franchise.
Oh, I doubt that.
They're
gonna go
even
full in.
Yeah.
They're gonna go full in. The entire research facility is related to the citizens of Berk. Just everyone at the research facility is related.
You know something? You know what's gonna be complete bullshit? If that freaking facility, if this is where Berk used to be.
That's Berk. That's New Berk. Oh
New
my
Berk.
god.
Come on.
Listen,
God.
I know it would make zero sense, but considering the bullshit they've done, they can do something.
No, global warming. The entirety of Berk is literally just sea level now. I'm just saying. It makes sense.
This man has the big brain.
I'm just saying. We already got the messages of global warming in here and stuff. So I mean, just go full on with it.
Yeah, the messages, one line of dialogue in one season.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah,
you
I
need.
mean,
That's good
look,
enough.
they forget entire plot
like
lines.
climate change and animal rights, things that Vikings wouldn't have cared about. Yeah, one line of dialogue. Thanks, John.
That's all you
You're
need.
making-
Just once. Once is good enough. People get the message. Move on now.
Yeah, and they remembered that, and then you go back to this is Berk now.
Well, I
because of
assumed
it.
they were going to bring it up again when the whole big freeze happens. Like, oh, this is a result of climate change. But they, no.
No, it's just them being idiots.
They're just fucking stupid.
So I'll be honest, I don't know what I even want from this show anymore. It's just whatever. I'm too down deep, and let's just see where this is going. Maybe the glimpse are actually a signs of hope. I doubt it. I'm not an.
It's
I'm
going
an
to a new
optimist, but
movie.
I'm also a realist. But I don't know. I just whatever.
Oh yeah, the live action movie. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
God.
well, there's that, but that's another.
That's something different.
I'm in a movie focused on these characters, Ian, not the live action movie, but you know.
God. Oh, they merge.
I just want people to stop pummeling the How to Train Your Dragon franchise for money.
Yeah,
just let
Dude,
it go.
no. They're gonna build a portal in the Nine Realms that transforms them through time and reality to the live action Dragon movie.
Oh my god!
Ugh.
You know
Oh my
something?
God.
Okay, that's Ian. You know something? You're joking, but from what I've heard, SpongeBob and its two spin-off shows actually did something like that. So people
my
can
God.
actually do this for the sake of money. Don't give them ideas.
Dean would have walked away if that was the plan. I hope.
Jeremy
well,
Shattuck just
he-
walked
well,
up in
he
the
also-
live action.
Well, he also said that he doesn't get live action remakes, and yet here we are. So
Yeah, but I feel like this is just whatever. That's a whole different discussion. But I just want to
that's
say,
for another day.
I just wanted to say this is probably Universal going, we need this, and then Dean saying, fine, I'll oversee it so it doesn't go out of control.
Dean gotta eat.
Yeah, that's why I think he did it.
Yeah,
Probably.
just like
I get it.
What?
Dean gotta eat too. I feel that.
Yeah. True. Well, he probably could have done other projects.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
He
but,
had
like,
something. I know he's doing another movie, but
Blish.
Yeah,
you know, and forces to believe that he literally just came on to not make it out of control. Yeah.
well,
Oh,
either
well.
way, I don't know
Anyway.
what to expect from Nine Realms anymore, except for
Nope.
what? Yeah, basically nope. And like, if you can at least make me laugh in the completely insane manner, then you know what, it might have given me something. So
I mean,
I don't know.
my best
Let's
guess
just
is
see.
gonna be that the lumber company of Buzzsaw is gonna work together with Ray Corp, and they're gonna do something. That's my best guess.
Makes
You know
about as
something?
much sense as anything
Okay,
else.
listen.
Yeah.
You know what would make the show instantly better for all the wrong reasons? If the CEO of Raincorp actually ends up being Tom's dad.
You know what?
Oh, deep cut. God.
Ooh.
Wow.
I doubt they would do that.
I doubt, but
Honestly.
you better believe that if this happens, the people would go wild.
That
People
would make
go
it even
insane.
more inexcusable that it's never mentioned, because his dad is just never mentioned. His mother
And
works
like
under
the
Ray
show
Corp,
cares.
under her ex or something.
What kind of
Divorced
fucking
husband? I don't
bullshit
know.
would that be? Like, you're the corporation overseeing the Cullerson Fisher, which you're a woman you had a child with discovered and is working. Like, that would be
And just completely abandoned.
bad life decision.
Listen, I made comparisons between Toothless and Godzilla before. They did this in a Godzilla movie. They can totally do it here.
Oh man, wow. I suppose so. God damn.
Well, anything else before we go completely insane here?
No, I need food.
This season was more of the same, more or less.
It was not as offensive as last season, but it
Not as
still
offensive, yeah.
still was not good. It was complete filler for a majority of it. Like I said, they could have really accomplished everything that they did in 2 or 3 episodes.
Actually, Audrey, random question. Would
Okay.
you prefer, this ending, like this half-assed sitcom ending for a season, or them beating up a big dragon runs away, new realm?
That's hard because they did that for 3 seasons in a row, and it wasn't even like them fighting the big boss dragon and discovering the new realm that I had an issue with, because I think I said this in my season 4 review, but that's really a convention of these types of shows, is you have to fight a big battle at the very end. It's like in superhero movies, the superhero and the villain fight at the end. I get it.
Yeah.
My issue with the first 3 seasons was that they were ending on that, like I said, insufferable subplot where it's always Hiccup, one of Tom's ancestors or not. You have to keep watching to find out. That was so annoying. It pissed me off. And we finally got to the end of it, thankfully. So I'm glad that they're not doing that anymore. But
and now the thing is, we're just revealing it to more and more people.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say.
Last season it was Tom's mom.
It was Tom's mom, and this time it's the rest of the adults. And it's
Next
like,
season,
okay,
it's
so
the world.
You're just recycling the Revealing Dragons ending season now. I guess you can't think of whatever. You know what? Sure.
No, but next season is gonna be Ray Corp, and then the season after that is gonna be the world. That's just, it makes sense.
Today, Rain Corp, tomorrow, the world.
The future, the comet.
Oh yeah, the comet. Yeah. They're gonna reveal dragons to the comet.
Okay, so I guess anything else? So
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
These conspiracy theories are getting out of control, man.
Yeah. So this was all for this episode of the Berkcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts about Dragons: The Nine Realms Season 5? You can tell us all about it in the comment section below, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C, and on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team. Ian, where can people find you on the internet?
I would say Bath and Belch, but I need to fix that at some point, that website. Otherwise, if you like Dutch, I have Twitter at Ian26.
And Audrie?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at Audrie Greywind.
And I look forward to her Season 5 review, because that's the only thing keeping the show worth it.
Thank you.
So I guess, so until next time, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
I was Ian.
And I was Audrie.
And we will see you all next time with hopefully less headache and more asteroids to please Wolf. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Boy.